Apologize. I was really about to fall asleep, and then I turned into a real vomit.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh god, welcome to Podtoid. I'm your host, Jim Sterling. I'm joined by Conrad Zimmerman, of course. Hello, Conrad.
Hello.
Hello. Now, Conrad can't... sorry, I was about to say Conrad can't be with us. He's right here. It's Jonathan Holmes who can't be with us today. He's not here. We're actually joined by Shadowfax, Lord of all Horses. Now, welcome to the show, Shadowfax. One thing I've always been curious to know is the name, really. I mean, it's very striking. Lord of all Horses. Now, is that a title that's hereditary? Or did other horses come together and vote for it? Or was it just Gandalf being a bit boastful?
Is this a Lord of the Rings thing, then? Because I only like the Lord of the Rings when it is a cartoon with a guy singing like, oh, you know that guy?
Well, of course, horses can't read books.
They can't, or watch movies or get in the movie theater.
They can't get into the movie theater, but they can watch old cartoons and appreciate the sound of someone going,
you know that guy? The greatest adventure is not hard to say. You know what?
You're talking about the old cartoon one.
That's the only real Lord of the Rings thing. Everything else is just fan art, basically.
Including the original Tolkien story.
Yeah,
that's just fanfic.
Preemptive fan art.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get too worried about me saying Jonathan Holmes isn't here. He is, of course, is. The Shadowfax thing was a ruse. It was a simple ruse.
Who is Shadowfax, though?
Lord of all Horses.
Is that Gandalf's horse? The horse he rides?
Yes, you are Gandalf's horse.
That's weird.
That is weird. What's even weirder is every time you talk, there's scratchy noise.
Oh, no!
Sounds like you're trying to escape from a coffin, my friend.
Is it better now?
Probably.
Good. I'm going to lean forward. I was really not... I was a little awake before.
Right.
Now that I'm leaning forward, I'm going to not fall asleep on the show.
Yeah, you fully up and erect. That's what we want. That's what Podtoid's always been about, is getting you erect. It's interesting you made me think of having you scratch your way out of a coffin, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, hear me out. Only joking. Only joking. We're not going to bury you alive this week. How are you doing, Jonathan? You're a tired man today.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
It's been a exhausting kind of months. Yes, on the go. A lot of stuff going on, guys. I'm emotional.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
You're running the Freaky Constantina Facebook fan page 24/7.
It's very important to me that Freaky Constantina remain at the forefront. The people's conscience. I don't care about Freaky Constantina. It's
How
strange.
How dare you?
It's not that I dislike it.
People have done this for you.
It's
ungrateful wretch. Just the raw nerve of it.
An ungrateful street urchin. The nobles of the realm give you bread. You're there on the streets, like in dirty brown rags. Just, oh please, sir. I am Jonathan Holmes, and I come from the workhouse where they give me coal. And it's shit coal. And give me some, this day, my daily bread. And me and Conrad are just, like, posh gentlemen about town with our top hats and our canes. And we toss you bread and say, here you go, boy. Have some bread. Livened bread.
That's what Freaky Constantina is?
And this is you right now. The bread is Freaky Constantina in this metaphor.
Oh, that's
Conrad and I, the nobles, are your fans, tossing you the bread of Facebook fan pages. And you...
praise and adulation. Yeah. That's what that is.
And
really
you...
metaphor.
The poor orphan with your ribcage sticking out and a little distended belly, get the bread, spit on it, rip it in half, throw it into the River Thames, and go, I really want some heroin. This is rubbish. I am homeless and thus on drugs. I don't want the food. Give me heroin or £500, English pounds, to get some heroin. And then me and Conrad are like, well, I've never been more offended in my life. You ungrateful little street urchin. Now bend over, and and we are going to give you your punishment. No. And then you say, oh, yes, sir. I've got to receive the pauper's punishment, like in the Victorian times, like it always happened. And then you get up and you pull down your little brown rags, and me and Conrad take turns giving you the Queen-appointed bumming of your life.
Oh, anal sex.
The Queen, not anal sex, the Queen-appointed bumming by royal appointment to punish you for ungratefulness shown towards your social betters. Me and Conrad don't even want to do this.
It sounds horrible. I'm really not looking forward to it, but society demands it.
Victorian society is such, and Podtoid has always subscribed to Victorian values, Jonathan, as you know. For Queen and country and God, we follow the tenets of Victorian era rules, and the rules say that if a dirty little working class homeless demands heroin from two noblemen, essentially, he has to get his bumming and like it.
I don't think that's a good way.
In many ways, it's a punishment for me and Conrad.
Do you think we enjoy bumming you? No, not at all.
It's the poor working class love a good bumming.
So why give them... Wait, then it wouldn't be a punishment then.
Well, no one said the Victorian era made sense, Jonathan. That's just the way it is. So neither Conrad nor I are near where you are right now, so you're going to have to do the rest of Podtoid with a banana up your ass.
Where am I?
I always knew it was going to come to this.
Oh, yeah.
So in lieu...
You are scratching again, Jonathan.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. It's
lean forward, though.
This is grotesque.
Oh, I know why. Whoa, weird.
Jesus.
The mic was miking the back of my neck. I'm surprised you could hear me at all.
Oh.
How do I sound now?
That's fantastic.
This is such a good
the mic
episode.
was just sort of sensually rubbing up against the back of your neck, you know.
No,
like a few fingers just delicately tracing the line, tickling the little hairs you have back there because you kind of need a haircut.
My, how you've changed.
My, how you've changed. Me and Conrad will only do that to you if you're caught pickpocketing.
I didn't feel the microphone at the back of my neck. If I did, I wouldn't have had it back there. It was unknown to me. I apologize.
I would love to just tickle the back of your neck, Jonathan, and blow on it. I'd
Why?
like to just tickle the back of your neck. Right?
It would be irritating a friend. It would just be causing the friend to be a little annoyed.
It'll be sensual, right? You'll spend your day like typing on your computer. You know, you're writing up video game news or whatever it is you do, right? or typing the names of porn stars into Nude Vista, the best porn search engine.
What's Nude Vista?
The best.
Is that like Alta Vista?
It's the best porn search engine. You know, you're typing in names in there, whatever. And I'm just behind you, just blowing on your neck and just tickling the hairs. Right? Not even really touching your neck, just brushing the hairs. While we've got Enya playing, just sail away, sail away, sail away. And I'm just like that, just blowing on your neck and in your ear.
It's a real... You know, I can get irritated.
There's nothing sexual about it, Jonathan.
It's possible to make me feel uncomfortable and a little on edge because someone is invading...
I won't be edging you.
What's edging? What does that even mean? Is that some sort of butt thing?
Look it up on Nude Vista.
It is
I don't want to. I don't want a Nude Vista at all. Not even a little. Let alone something about edges.
Don't say that! I'm angling for them to be our next sponsor.
Well, I do have the
That's
Pornhub
the kind of
peoples.
noise I'll make, Jonathan, on your
Like that.
like that, and then maybe just a little kiss around the earlobe.
No.
All the while, you've got the boo 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 silhouette silhouette.
And yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, that's true. Isn't today some sort of annoy men holiday or something?
Annoy men holiday? No,
Yeah,
no,
something like that, right?
no. February 1st. Objectify a male tech writer, Jonathan Holmes.
Yeah, it's
It's basically every day on Podtoid,
yeah,
but for
yeah.
everyone.
It,
So
it is it isn't we are ahead of our time, I guess, on that.
in a
We've been
way,
doing it for years.
Jonathan, to truly make a difference,
Hmm.
it should be the one day you don't get any of it.
Oh, really? Do you think that'll happen?
I said it should be. It's not gonna be. In fact, you're gonna get it twice as bad.
Oh,
And I will make, if you don't, oh so help me God, if you do not wear a mesh tank top on that day of all days, on my new Christmas, there is gonna be hell to pay, lad.
I'm not gonna.
You're gonna get a
Ah,
Victorian punishment.
I don't want. It doesn't. It's not good for me. No, no.
I love how you realise you can't even reason anymore, so the words just fall out in any order.
I'm just trying to express how I feel. That's all I can do, and hope it has some effect on someone somewhere. They hear me plea, but I've been doing it for a while. I don't know.
Oh, Jonathan Holmes, you are my good friend.
Yeah, we are friends. It's true.
You're my good friend, and that is why you should be more considerate. For me. It's
For
like you
you?
go on and on and on about how this makes me uncomfortable. Please don't do this. I would prefer it if you didn't do that. You're not taking into consideration the fact that I do want these things to happen. And
Yes, you do.
you're treading on my dreams at the moment. You're like, you know, I am the Second Amendment, and you are Barack Obama eating all my guns. Jonathan Holmes.
I was talking to a psychiatrist today. Smart guy. I like him. He's a good guy. I said, "What do you think? What do you think of all this talk of banning video games?" He said, "I think every state should have to choose. Either ban all the guns or ban all the video games. And then you'll get the states you like to be in and the states you don't like. And everybody will win." Well, that was a pretty fun idea.
I don't know, I've heard those arguments before, but it always assumes that anyone can just pack up and leave to whatever state they want.
Oh, that's a good point.
Isn't
Yeah, there's a
always
lot of economic challenges to picking up and moving, and I really like that idea. And there's something up in the Pacific Northwest that there's a movement that's popped up a few times where like Washington, Oregon, part of Northern California, and part of Canada wanted to break off and be their own country, effectively, and
Weird.
be their own sort of like regional nation state that operated autonomously. And there were a couple of points where it was like there were votes coming up and things like that. And oddly, terrorist attacks always seem to crop up around the time that real discussion starts happening about it. I'm not sure if there's any relationship there, but yeah, I love the idea of people being able to pick and choose if I thought that people would actually be able to do that. But more likely, you're just going to wind up with a lot of people stuck in oppressive places that don't reflect their values either way.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people, I know a lot of people in Mississippi who are, they love the state through thick and thin. But, they're liberal people, they're not Republicans, they support abortion, all this kind of stuff. And they would like to affect the changes in this state. They would like to try and make the state better for the kind of people who are oppressed by that kind of thing. So just saying, oh, well, this state will definitely be this, and if you don't like it, you have to go. It's a very impractical suggestion.
He was joking. It was funny. It was a joke.
It's too late now. Now he meant it, and he has to act like he did for the rest of his life. So I don't look foolish.
I thought it was pretty funny. He also pointed out someone needs to tell these politicians. He's like 51. He's not a particularly young man, but he's really not stupid. It's great. It's great to talk to a older, kind of conservative person in a lot of ways who's also smart. He's like, when I was growing up, you know what we had instead of Call of Duty? Just a thing that looked exactly like a gun. It just was a gun. And it made a gun sound and smoke came out. You'd buy caps for it. And you'd shoot your friends and they would say, I'm dead. You killed me. You would say, yes, I killed him. I love killing my friends. And they would all just sit around and be like, let's think about how many times we killed each other today. So happy. And no one talks, you never hear the politicians saying that there's anything about the way they grew up with their toy guns that were much more realistic. He says, playing
I don't know that that's true, because it's as a result of, the realistic nature of those weapons and so forth, and the concern over that they started to make them look less like real guns.
True.
They put the orange caps on them, and they tried to make them less identifiable as real weapons. And I mean, it's a silly distinction, because you are still effectively doing the same thing. You're pointing an object, pretending that it's a lethal weapon, and
well, I think the concern with the orange tags and stuff was more to stop people trying to rob banks with them,
right,
stuff. I don't think it was a psychological.
No, but they started making the guns all orange too. I mean, it wasn't like.
Oh sure, now they're just
limited just to the cap thing on the front. But they stopped making them use caps, because they determined that the caps were dangerous, that they were, kids were gonna blow out their eardrums with them, let alone, the implication of the gunfire noise and so forth.
I mean, it does bring up an interesting. I mean, they're all physical concerns. Which may or may not be valid, but I do think there is some merit to that idea that they don't talk about the psychological impact of the fact that they were pretending to kill each other just like people do now. It was just a slightly different way of doing it.
And if you took away their toy guns, then they would just get sticks and either point or actually just hit each other.
Before I had toy guns, I was running around with sticks with my friends. If we didn't have enough toy guns to go around.
Kids in Britain would throw rocks.
Yeah.
So fucking. I mean, it would be fucking clumps, hard clumps of dirt with stones in. Just fucking throw them at each other. Yeah, that's basically what it was. And you could throw the clumpy dirt bomb directly at someone, or you could just throw it at the playground floor and have it shatter and possibly send small pebbles into people's eyes. Very dangerous times for a child back then. Nowadays they worry about car accidents and paedophiles, but I think I had it worse.
Don't go outside and play like they used to. We really ought to get these kids out from in front of their TVs and out into the real world where they can throw rocks at each other and really injure one another again. Can we bring the lawn dart back, please?
Yeah. I still remember being up in a tree looking down, watching as my brother tried to climb up one fucking vertically like Spider-Man, back parallel with the concrete stone-covered pub car park at the bottom, and the twig just snapping and him falling backwards and breaking the back of his head open. And those were good times back then.
We liked it, goddammit.
Sort of safer days, it's true.
Safer, cleaner, more brutal days.
Yeah, they say they harken back to the 50s when everything was much nicer. The TV shows were nicer, but the actual lives people were leading.
As well.
Look, Dennis the Menace running around with his pistol and his coonskin cap, causing trouble for Mr. Wilson. Yeah, that was a great role.
Not to mention, you look at the cartoons, fucking Daffy Duck getting shot in the face multiple times and surviving. Just all, kids were being taught, if you shoot someone in the face, the worst that's going to happen is their mouth will be round the back of their head, and they will say, you're despicable, right? Tom and Jerry, hey kids, do you have a cat? Well, don't worry about that little motherfucker. Drop an anvil on its head. It'll be flat for a while, make a funny concertina noise, maybe go, ah, and everything will be fine afterwards. It'll just be back the next morning. Concertina, not Constantina noise. Get your mind out of the gutter. and not to mention, racist as fuck.
Oh, sure.
Another thing that would happen if you fucking shot someone in the face, their lips might go bright red and their face will go like pitch black, and then they'll go, bueno. That's what these kids were watching, what these baby boomers of fucking today were watching back then.
I was watching it.
Laughing and clapping and punching cats in the sternum, if cats have those. And just,
yeah, I think so.
And that was their day. That was their whole day. Was
Tom
just
and Jerry
shooting
did.
kids in the face with BB guns and kicking cats' legs off and being racist. And they say that the kids of today are being badly influenced.
It's true. Yeah, Tom and Jerry did cause me to do the worst thing I've ever done. I wrote about it for Destructoid a while ago. There's a sketch where Tom was mad at the mammy type character, just the, black house servant that they never showed her head, but you heard her be like, "Oh, yes'm, Massa Tom," just so bad.
Yeah.
And
she had an official name.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, it was called, her real name was Mrs. Black People Are Hilarious.
And he pulled the chair out from under her, like he was serving her for dinner, but then he pulled it away and she fell down and was like, "I'll get you for that, Tom." And I was like, "Oh, I want to be a rascal too. I'll do that to my mom." She almost broke her back.
Jesus.
And I was like, "There wasn't like it was supposed to be on the cartoon." I was crying and I felt terrible because I really thought, "Oh, saw it on Tom and Jerry. It'll be fine." Not fine. Not fine, folks.
And that's what happened.
Right. Whereas Call of Duty, sure, if you send some kids to Afghanistan and give them guns and say, don't do anything, we wouldn't want you to, they may take a cue from Call of Duty instead of listening to you and fight the terrorists. But other than that, I don't think Call of Duty is going to teach them to do any real life badness that they can actually.
Well, they're not going to try and murder their mothers like you did.
Right. It's Tom and Jerry's fault, not mine fault.
Yeah. Speaking of you murdering people, though, Jonathan.
Oh, you've got some ideas, do you?
Who said this show's formulaic?
I wouldn't go that far, but people have come to hope. People come here for a reason. Let's face it.
We are the Obama administration of podcasts. They come to us for hope, and they never get change. There was some top-notch political satire for you. There'll be more of that next week. No, there won't. I had this idea, Jonathan. It's not a big, long-winded one this week. We've actually got a lot of video game stuff to discuss.
Oh, sure.
But, oh God, Jonathan. I was thinking 2 days ago, I really want Jonathan to become Wrath.
Wrath from...
The concept.
Just the concept of Wrath?
Yeah.
Like the deadly sin, in and of itself.
The very idea, the thinking behind Wrath. And then, if people are angry, you can just go round and do stuff for them.
Yeah? The opposite of Elite Beat Agents?
Yeah, although, to be honest, the idea got as far as me imagining you, Jonathan, wearing a loincloth, naked, the rest of you, painted bright red, with a post-it note stuck to your head with angry written on it, and then you just running around Baltimore going, "Rah! Rah! I'm Wrath." That's literally as far as I got, and I really didn't think I needed anything else.
Have you seen that movie Insidious?
Yes.
You have seen it?
I like Insidious a lot.
What a surprise. Are we, that's the one with the guy who played Night Owl in The Watchmen as the dad who is skeptical, right?
I don't know.
And then they're at dinner, and they're like, "I don't know, I don't think there's any ghosts." And he's like, "Maybe there's not." And then just behind them, there's a guy with his face painted red, and he's like, "Ah!"
Yeah, the lipstick face demon.
Yeah? Is that right?
That's his name, lipstick face demon.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
What a funny name. Is that scary or just fun?
It made me jump.
It made me laugh.
That did make me jump, but it's actually quite a humorous movie.
Mm.
Whole bit with the Tiny Tim and him sharpening his claws on a grindstone thing.
Oh yeah, there's
awesome.
like a dancing ghost demon with a funny butt, and like little boys with long old man noses jumping out of. That's a fun movie. Yeah.
What I love about that movie is you think they're gonna go that whole the male lead doesn't believe the hysterical woman type thing. Like the whole horror movie thing of, this person can see the stuff going on and this guy doesn't. And it's like, no, it's like as soon as the guy shows skepticism, the red-faced demon is like, fuck that, and just fucks shit up for him. I respect monsters that do that, that seem to dislike nobody believing they exist. Like, even if it would be more sensible to just isolate one person, they're too egotistical. It's one thing I liked about, as much as people hate the films, about the Paranormal Activity movies, because once it's decided the people have been skeptical for too long, which is usually an hour at most in the film time, not in movie time, in their time, they get like an afternoon where they're not bothered, and then the ghost gets bored and then just throws all the chairs on the ceiling. I like that. I want more monsters and ghosts to do that, please. In fact, Jonathan, we should be the leading example.
We're not monsters or ghosts.
We should haunt a house. All of us.
We can't. We're not.
You know the Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I was just thinking about them. Yeah.
We'll be the opposite of them. We'll be the ghosts. Nothing else.
I can see the advertisement now. Is your home too boring? Do you need to spice things up? Come by Jonathan Holmes's home in Boston, Massachusetts.
What? No, don't come to my home.
Oh, we should go to there.
Why is that?
Well, yeah, no. That's just where that's like the sample house. It's like the model home, where people can come through and see the services that we have on offer. Yeah. And we'll just cover the inside of Holmes's living room with like this sticky ectoplasm stuff. And
yeah, I've got a good supplier of that. I say supplier. It is Homeless's.
No, I don't want that.
I'm gonna get my interior decorating team under a bridge where I found them incorporated. They're gonna come in. They're gonna make your place look all spooky, Jonathan. They're gonna make it look slimy.
With what slime? Where's the slime come from?
Ghost slime. That's all you need to know. And ghost poo.
Yeah. Ghost poo. Ghosts don't poo at all.
These ones do. Homeless ghost poo. This is just going to be the show home.
So I'm not a ghost anymore, at least. I don't have to go haunt someone else's house. I can just be tortured in my own home, right?
Well, when we invite people in to your haunted house, right? Once I've arranged the fluids that my homeless decorating team have left behind, and the poo, and we've put silly string on your dog to make it look proper scary, you'll be there in a red wig and glasses, and you basically, Jonathan, have to spend 23 hours of the day, every minute of the day, going, Ghostbusters, what do you want?
I have to be Janine?
Yes. Please.
I do like Janine.
Yeah.
She's pretty cute.
And the other hour of the day when you're allowed to sleep, you've got to sleep at your desk while I have an old plastic Ecto-1 toy, like from the 80s and 90s, and I'll just be ramming that into the side of your head, going, just to have...
And that's how we are ghosts? How does...
This is, at the moment, we are just, like, respectable businessmen.
Because this is a business.
Yes!
Ghosts is.
Ghosts is a business! We put an ad out. People are sure to respond. They're like, ghosts are offering their services. Sign me up. They come to your apartment, at which point you say, yeah, what do you want?
What? Why am I talking like that?
They come in, and you go, what do you want? And me and Conrad wear top hats so that they know we're respectable. And we say, welcome to Jonathan Holmes's Haunting Incorporated. We provide a range of paranormal services for parties, functions, anything you want, even if it's just you in your home alone, and you just want Jonathan to dance for you, painted red, going, I'm Wrath! We can do that for you, because that is kind of scary.
It would be, a little. Yeah, it's weird.
We build atmosphere. And to prove it, we actually have a VHS tape from the board game Atmosphere, which we will play, and it makes scary noises, and you never know when the gatekeeper's going to tell you to stop.
That's a board game? Atmosphere?
Oh god, it's such a good board game.
Oh, it
Great
sounds
board game.
good.
We actually recently got the Harbingers off eBay. I fucking love Atmosphere, the Harbinger.
I have the old VHS version, Nightmare.
Oh, fantastic.
They're so good. They're so much fun.
So bring that, Conrad.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because we're going to have 2 televisions set up with VHSs attached to them, and they will play both Atmosphere, the Harbingers, and Nightmare simultaneously.
Well, everything is spookier in low def.
Yeah. We got a smoke machine going. I can't afford a smoke machine, so I'm just going to burn a lot of toast, John, in the middle of your apartment.
Oh.
Set up like a small controlled fire. I'm not a monster. A controlled fire. I reckon if I just sprayed the deodorant in a small circle on your carpet, it won't spread anywhere else. It'll just burn where the deodorant burns. My brother did it once. He sprayed deodorant down the front of his shins on his jeans and set fire to them and ran around with fiery legs.
Is he okay?
Yeah. So you'll probably be okay if we do it to you, Jonathan.
How long was he burning for, your brother?
A couple of seconds. So, I reckon... I mean, he's shorter than you, so if we do it for a couple of minutes for you...
Because I'm longer? I can sustain more flame?
Yeah, like a...
Is that how it works?
Like a candle wick, yeah. Mathematically, it's not even me saying it, it's basic math, you'll be okay. That's one of the things we'll do. We'll say, we can provide many different types of ghosts. Look at the living wicker man. And then that's when we spray deodorant on your legs and maybe your face a bit. Just a little splash. And just toss a match on you. And you run around saying, I am scary made of fire.
I don't think I can say it that calmly. I'll be on fire. It's very scary when your face is on fire.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, it's not scary to other people will be scared for me because
but think of the benefits.
My skin melt.
Think of the benefits of that though. Afterwards, we got a free Freddy Krueger's. Just consider it. Let's just say it's not off the table right now. It's just hovered a bit above the table like a scary ghost.
Oh.
So, anyway, we'll show them around your apartment. Look here, we have a ghost made of silly string. It is Black Chuck, the demon dog of the Baskervilles.
Black Chuck?
That Black Chuck. Scary.
That's a cool name.
You are scared of it, you idiots. Homeless persons come, adorning the walls.
Wait, what?
What could be scarier? There could be scabies in there. You don't know.
In what?
One of the many haunting elements of a homeless person's splackages.
Oh, you did say that.
Yes.
No.
Lo and behold, a bucket of ghost poo.
They don't poo.
You're welcome to dig around inside and see if you can find traces of ghost.
In the poo?
Yeah. And what we'll do there is, those little rubber finger puppet monsters they used to have in arcades and things?
Oh, sure, they're fun.
Wobbly arms and little... Yeah, we'll just stuff a load of those in the poo.
That's traces of ghost?
Yeah, and they'll be like, oh, I found a sample. I feel like Egon. Okay?
It's so weird, because I was thinking we were like the Ghostbusters right before the show started.
Yeah.
You are the Venkman.
I am making the opposite of your dream come true.
It's true. This is not like Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Podtoid, where your dreams
don't come true.
necessarily happen. Yeah.
Mine don't. Nope.
Oh God. So anyway, after we've shown around the prospective happy couple who they've just bought a new home, Jonathan, and they want to christen it with some ghosts, because that raises the value of a property. It gives it some rustic charm. It gives it age. It gives it depth.
No. I'm really making faces. You can't see them.
Are they scary ghost faces?
No, they're like squinting like, what? Why? What happened why is he like this? Just, those faces you make at someone?
Happy couple who have bought a house. Do not
Yeah.
be alarmed by my squinty friend. He has just got some haunting stuck in his eyes.
No couple wants trouble in it's very stressful when you have a new house, but it's very exciting. You don't want poo in there or ghosts.
Maybe if they just want fun ghosts, they can have the Casper package.
What's the Casper package like?
In many ways, we do look like Fatso, Stinky, and Stretch.
Yeah, that was talked about before. I'm Stinky, I think. Or am I Stretch? I can't remember. Or am I Fatso? Who am I?
I don't know. You are both Fatso, and I'm Stinky and Stretch.
And Conrad's just a normal man.
I'm just confused.
Oh, don't worry, this is going somewhere.
Okay.
I can imagine.
Yeah. All of that in the apartment was improvised based on just what you said, Conrad. I didn't intend for any of that. But we got ghost poo out of the deal. Scary ghost poo, Jonathan.
It is scary.
It's
It's just not spooky. It's just not what you want in your house. You're scared what diseases you'll get.
You're a spooky man, Jonathan.
I am a little
In
creepy.
many ways, you are spooky Constantina. So anyway, we take down their names so that we know what they're called. Like, let's just say for this, they're called Frank and Moira. Okay? So Frank, Moira, thank you for coming by. Jonathan Holmes's ghost, whatever I said it was. We'll be round on a day of our choosing to haunt your abode. Now, you'll notice I didn't take their address. That was intentional, because we're ghosts. We know where they live already. We know where they live better than they know. So they go. 3 days later, we leave your apartment, all three of us, a unified paranormal entity in many ways. And we're going to go to their house and perform paranormal activity. Like in the film, Paranormal Activity 3.
I still haven't seen any of those.
Well, you don't really need to know much.
I've seen the commercials that a chair moves.
That's about all you need to know, really.
Mm-hmm.
We will leave the house. We will walk in a random direction for 10 minutes, get bored, and then break into the first house we see.
Frank and Moira's not necessarily... It's not necessarily their house. Is it? Is it?
I'm going to trust my clairvoyance on that. I'm in many ways a medium of the spirit world, and when I sense that I'm getting bored of walking, which, to be honest, ain't going to be long, it will be the ghost realm telling us that we've arrived at our destination. Okay, it's like spectral GPS.
But we're not ghosts. We're just...
we're absolute ghosts.
Is that not what... look, are you trying to get us screwed for false advertising here? We said we're ghosts, goddammit.
Am I trying to?
Yeah, I can prove it. We're each wearing white t-shirts. White being the ghostliest colour of all. White t-shirts, probably nothing else. They're long. Wow. They're long t-shirts. They go down to our knees. So they cover our delicates, our ghostly delicates.
Sort of. A white t-shirt. It doesn't reveal everything.
Of a white t-shirt, but it's really more like the length of a dressing gown. You know, like imagine Ebenezer Scrooge getting out of his bed and that thing that goes down to his ankles, but it's just like a V-neck at the top.
Yeah, I love that. We'll wear like droopy nightcaps as well. So we're wearing long Ebenezer Scrooge dressing gowns that are low cut. They got a low cut top, so they go down to they're like cut down to our navels, like Eva's jacket in Snake Eater.
That's hot. That's really hot. Yeah.
It is spooky. It is sexy. That's what people want. We're wearing droopy nightgowns, droopy nightcaps. Conrad, if you could have a candle on a gold dish.
Oh, we can manage that.
That is fantastic. At this point, Jonathan's carrying the ghost's brick.
The ghost's brick?
Yeah, it's a common spooky artifact. The ghost's brick. It's a common house brick painted with glow-in-the-dark paint, which you will. What's the best way? Project ethereally through someone's fucking window.
Do I just concentrate real hard and move it with my mind?
You concentrate real hard and move it with your mind telling your arm to lob a fucking brick. You hurl that, right? Hurl that like a phantasmagoric catapult through someone's window, at which point I've got the ghost's crowbar, which I use to then just smash away the rest of the glass. We climb in, right? At this time, we are, all three of us, just screaming. Conrad's thrown the candle onto the most flammable thing he sees. We're running around this person's house just going, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" We run up the stairs with really heavy footsteps so that they know it is like paranormal activity. At this point, the occupants of the house are excited. Their dreams Their dreams have come true.
Energized, maybe, but not with enthusiasm.
They'll be engrossed by the events. I believe they couldn't be happier if somebody had given them Euro Truck Simulator 2. The hot new game that everybody mostly
I heard you really like that game.
Yeah, but we're not talking about games, we're talking about ghosts.
Sorry.
So we're running up the stairs, bang, 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 like that. They just hear us coming, like... Fucking ghosts! Is what we're screaming. At that point, they're giddy with excitement. Probably got a camcorder running to capture it so that they can give it to the paranormal activity filmmakers to use in their film. They're going to be Hollywood stars, Jonathan. We kick the bedroom door open. We rip their bed sheets off. We grab whoever's nearest by the legs, by their kicking ankles, yank them out of bed, drop them on the floor, and just start biting their legs. We just start biting their legs, all of us, and we roll them around and just start rolling them on the floor, going sausage roll, sausage roll, sausage roll, sausage roll. Pick them up. Like one of us grabs the wrists, the other one grabs the ankles, the other one just kicks them on the ass, and we just hoist them 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, throw them back on the bed, kick the mattress a few times for good measure. If you've still got the brick at this time, just throw it through one of the bedroom windows, just to make the point. And then we run out the house and back to your apartment after leaving a calling card with your name and address on it, Jonathan, just so that they know that they've been serviced by the right people.
Do we make any effort to cover our crime, or do we just sit at home with smiles on our faces thinking, great job, guys?
Well, what do you mean cover our crime?
Because we just committed a crime. A really weird... Because the thing about crime is, I've been thinking about this.
Yeah.
It's weird to me that there's prison for guys who just like tried to get away with getting something they didn't deserve, like stealing. And the same people who are just really weird and dumb, who just like screwed up bad. And there was nothing in it for them. Just like a dumb crime, like, oh, I don't know. I knew this one guy who just threw acid on his wife. That wasn't good.
No.
But there was nothing in it for him. It's not like a profit deal, you know?
Well, no, shouldn't go to prison.
No, different prisons.
Oh,
a very different mentality between I'm going to rob a bank and then go buy drugs, and my wife just stabbed me in the legs and then I threw acid on her face. They're different kinds of guys, different problems. And we're much more in that second camp, you know?
Yeah.
There was nothing in it for us
Yes,
that I'm aware of.
Jesus Christ, Jonathan.
Frank and Moira's money?
That's why...
Have you not realized the profit potential of Ghost?
He doesn't understand.
I don't understand.
Why do you think we leave an invoice on their kitchen table before we run?
They're not gonna... How much did that cost them, I wonder?
500 groats.
Groats. Gonna use some fictional currency
It's
for
not
this business.
fictional!
Groats?
No!
What country uses the groat?
I can't remember. Probably not one that exists anymore, or uses it now. But that's the currency we want because we're fucking ghosts. We're supposed to be anachronistic.
I don't know what that. I'm too stupid. I don't know what anachronistic means. Is that like sleepy or bashful or something?
It means existing in another era or time.
Oh,
like the Society for Creative Anachronism. That's the group that all dress up in those stupid ass Renaissance outfits, prance around with their lordships and kingdoms and yada yada yada.
I've never heard of that. Huh?
Yeah.
Sounds like a hoot.
It's basically like Renaissance festivals for people who are way more serious about it or who are more serious about the history of it than they are about making money off of people's perceptions of the Renaissance by holding hokey Renaissance festivals.
Yeah. And they're called again, sorry?
The Society for Creative Anachronism.
And in many ways, Jonathan, I think we should be the Society for Destructive Anachronism. And I believe we serve for our hard work. Glow-in-the-dark paint isn't cheap, probably. 500 groats, please, and a silken purse. To be worn about the neck or belt.
So what kind of prison do we go to? Are we going to the one
choice
for
between
bank robbers or
the bank
acid
robbers or the acid face one? Well, ideally, I'd like us to be caught in a ghost trap and put in the vault.
Put in the ecto chamber?
Yeah, there's got to be a disused firehouse they could put us in somewhere.
I always thought the ecto chamber was probably cool in there. You know, there's probably like I don't know, floating asteroids you could just hop around on, and being a ghost would be awesome. I was talking about this for a while. I'm not scared of ghosts.
I think the description I just gave proves that being ghosts would be awesome, John.
But you'd have to actually be dead to get away with that. And when ghosts trouble you, you can just be like, well, kill me, and I'll just join Ghost Club and win just like you did. The
first rule of Ghost Club.
You don't talk about Ghost Club. But really, how can you be scared of...
I often wonder why people go to prison for killing Christians, because it's the same law.
What?
It's the same logic. You kill a Christian, they just go to Ghost Club.
That's true, heaven,
it shouldn't be illegal. And I'm not saying do it, I've got no interest in doing it. But it shouldn't be illegal, because it's not murder.
Because they're going to a better place.
Why would they be worried?
They're getting their final reward.
They want to choose when they go.
In a way, you are rewarding them for a life well lived.
They can't
by ensuring that they go to heaven before they have time to screw it up.
They can't choose when they go, Jonathan Holmes, because that's them playing God. And we should be the ones playing God, Jonathan.
They want God to choose. It's like taking a tubby, you know?
Okay,
in the tub.
New idea.
Yep. Let's
be God.
Yes.
Now we're God. Wow, Conrad, you have changed. It's amazing. People should... I'd like to see if people still listen to the show.
Conrad's been spending some time with me. He's been sticking his finger in the One Ring. It's interrupting him.
The One Ring? Is that a Lord of the Rings thing?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm slow on that.
This is the Lord of the Rings special.
I guess so. The spooky Lord of the Rings special. Year-end special.
Oh, Jonathan Holmes. Jonathan Holmes.
I'm a guy.
The world's new god.
But you don't...
Huh?
I was just going to say, if someone threw me in the tub, Jim...
Which kind of tub?
Any sort of bathtub.
Okay.
I would not be happy about it, because I'm the one who chooses when I tub. Or I tub when I'm supposed to tub by my own schedule.
Yeah.
You throw me in the tub, I'm going to be a little annoyed. I'm not going to want to be in there tubbing around. And this is true of children. Everyone knows you say a kid, time for your tubby. They go, I don't want tubby. But then if you say, you know what you had a lot of fun doing last week, tubby. You can have some toys in tubby. Then they're like, oh, can I do tubby? You got to make it their idea. It's the same with murdering Christians. Kind of.
You've got to make them think, that it was their idea first.
Jim Jones, he was like, this is our idea, guys. And they're like, hooray.
That's very true.
Yeah, you're right. Holmes, I hadn't really thought about Jim Jones as a role model before, but I think
it's something we could all aspire to. Yeah.
I'm not saying we should do it. I'm just saying that's how they view the afterlife.
Jonathan Holmes, please start a cult.
Don't be modest. Don't be modest, Holmes. You have the charisma.
My grandfather started.
You've got the charisma. You've got the... Wait a minute, what?
I thought I told you this.
Yeah. I think you may have made reference to it before, but we talked about it. Let's have story time.
Oh, it won't be a long story. It's weird that people know so much about me. My mother and my brother just noticed that I have a small cult following, and they've started looking up what people say about me. Not too happy.
No.
Not too. My brother in particular, who is he's one of those guys who's big on like being respected.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to be respected by people. And then he sees how people treat me on the internet.
Why is he fucking bothered? No one's disrespecting him.
Yeah, I am an extension of him. He loves me. That's how he sees family.
And it's like my parents always used to tell me every time I left the house, you represent the whole family.
Right. I represent my whole family. And likewise, what people say about me, my brother feels like they're saying about him. And he wants to kill most of the people who listen to Podtoid. Or at least the fans who show their appreciation.
Yes.
That's not cool.
He may kill them.
That's not cool. What did you think about the song Thomas Strong put together?
Oh, I don't think he saw that.
I was going to actually open this week's episode with that song, but then we got talking. I didn't get around to thanking Thomas Strong then, so I'll play it at the end.
Oh, good.
So at the end of this week's episode, based on the little song I sang for you, Jonathan, last week, which was a reworking, in many ways a superior reinterpretation of the song Dragon Soul, used at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z Kai. I reworded the song about you, didn't I, Jonathan?
And it's amazing how well it matched up with the original. Yes. Well,
in many ways, I am the Enya of Podtoid. and I like to think that my voice is the soul of music.
It's going to be really interesting to see if my brother actually does kill people because of Podtoid. That would make a very interesting news story.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
He might. I can't speak to it either way. That's his call.
Is he angry at me?
I don't think he's noticed you yet. He's never listened to Podtoid.
Okay. So long as he's not angry, so long as no one's trying to kill me, he can do what he likes.
Yeah. He's really strong.
Okay.
You know how I looked strong once? He looks like 10 times stronger than that all the time. He's really angry. Yeah.
Okay. So just a warning for Podtoid listeners: if you see someone who looks like a strong Jonathan Holmes,
he's a little shorter.
A short, strong Jonathan Holmes.
Full head of hair too.
Full head of hair. I'm just imagining the hairy orange monster from Looney Tunes now. If you see that outside your house, get running.
He looks a little bit like Bert. If I look like Ernie, he looks like a Bert of me. And with muscles. Just a huge, muscular Bert who will kill you.
Muscular Bert. It looks like a cross between Bert and Vin Diesel.
He's always carrying a knife.
With a knife. What the fuck is this guy?
He is my brother. He's my brother who will kill you.
How many people has he killed?
I don't think he's killed anybody.
Did he join your granddad's cult?
No, he didn't need to do that. I'll just recap that briefly. My great-grandfather was a German person.
Okay, if you Podtoid wiki editors, take notes. Start taking notes.
This is a real guy. Eberhard Arnold, I think his name was.
That's a fantastic
Eberhard
name.
Yeah, he's quite a guy. And he looked cool too. He looked kind of like Miyazaki, Hayao Miyazaki, except German. And he didn't like jerks. and he thought that everyone was being a jerk in Germany pre-World War II. He had a feeling jerks were going to get powerful. So he's like, let's preempt the jerks. Let's start a religious commune where
Oh god,
everyone's
this
super
doesn't start with
nice.
him starting the Nationalist Socialist Party.
No, no, but he almost was killed by them.
Okay.
He almost was killed by them. So this is pre-Hitler. He's like, let's be hippies, but instead of drugs, we'll just be super nice all the time and think that Jesus is good. And he was pretty cool about it. He was charming and likable, and he actually wanted good things to happen. So Hitler hated him and was like, I will kill you. But then didn't kill them because it turned out that I think his wife was related to the German aristocracy. So she had like the blood of German kings in her. So I do too, which is neat. And
This is a new angle we can exploit at
you've
some
got
point.
so many different ways you're gonna make this trouble for me.
I'm thinking of starting just by drinking some of the blood. I think if I drink some of the blood, I will get Hitler's powers.
Hitler had powers. Anyway, so he didn't kill them, but he kicked them out and made them go to England. And then World War II started. So the English were like, what are these Germans doing here? And kicked them out. So then my mom grew up in Paraguay in a religious cult. But then, and her dad ran it for a while, and he was pretty good. But then jerks in religious cults, it always turns out this way. They can start off super nice, just like playing around with alligators and making houses out of mud and singing songs and having an evil Santa Claus who beats children with sticks. All fine stuff.
I want to know everything about this cult.
There's many books about it. Many books about them. They're called the Bruderhof.
The Bruderhof.
Bruderhof, yes. But then they got worse because my uncle Heine, I believe his name is, he took over, or it was maybe Heine's dad named like or something. They all have just names like that.
So what? I've got to get this straight. Was it Heine or Ichachuch?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't think about these people that much.
No.
Every couple of years I remember they exist. So then he took over, and then a bunch of stuff happened that I won't get into the long details of. But my mom ended up getting kicked out, and she had to like learn how to be a normal human being, even though she'd been brought up in a religious cult where you weren't even allowed to hold hands with people, let alone like kiss the opposite sex before marriage. And they were just riding around on these weird bicycles that you pedal with your hands and steer with your feet instead of the other way around. And yeah, they're still going though. They make toys for doctors' offices and have like all these different versions of themselves over the United States and some in South America. And they've got guns and private jets. And I think that they pretend to be pornographers sometimes in order to make other people look bad. They're not that different from you in some ways. Yeah, they're pretty interesting guys. And I could storm the castle gates. I could go and demand, say, it's my blood right. It's my blood right that I take over again and have a big power struggle and stuff. Sometimes I think about doing it. I'd be a multimillionaire if I did that, but it'd be a lot of work. Just running a cult. I don't know.
Well, Conrad and I will be happy to help.
We will help you shoulder that burden, my friend.
Yes. We will be
really awkward if the Bruderhof listened to this. They would really use that against
Holmes. Oh my god. We gotta do this. Where are they? Paraguay? Let's go over there. You become the scion of the Bruderhof. Conrad and I will be your viziers.
I think they're still in Paraguay. They were in a place called Primavera, which means spring.
Well, I mean, worst comes to worst, we can pretend to set up a doctor's office, and as soon as the first shipment of toys comes in, we just follow the sender's address.
That's where my mom busted out Ruthie, my aunt, the one who's like, no rules, do as you please, dear, have some tea.
Jesus Christ, if they did that to her, we definitely got to get in on this cult lark.
Well, that's she's so happy now because she's out of there. When she was there, she was sad, but now that she's out of the religious commune, no rules.
Yeah, oh my god.
We haven't even talked about video games yet. I'm sorry
I never want to talk about video games again. I'm too busy making plans for the changes that we're going to be making to the Bruderhof.
You can look them up. There's tons of TV shows about them.
Yeah.
My mom was in one once or twice. Yeah, there's she wrote a book too about it, I think. Anyway, yeah, enough out of me.
Lord High Chancellor, that'll be my job. Conrad will be father of the undying flame. And you, Jonathan Holmes, will be the Queen.
I don't know if that's such a hot idea.
Or why don't we set up Bruderhof Part 2?
The sequel?
Yeah, it'll be like Van Halen splitting up. And we'll tell people that you are the real Bruderhof. And we'll get Slash so that it's official. Say, do the old Bruderhof have Slash on their side? No, we do. Come to us for some rockin' tunes and little Doctor Office toys.
We should talk about those video games, those guys.
Oh,
we shouldn't just talk about me. Who cares? Who cares about that? I don't.
A lot happened.
Yeah.
A lot happened this week.
Vigil?
Yeah, let's start with THQ.
Yeah.
So yeah, THQ's dead.
So weird.
It is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who talked about putting a glow-in-the-dark brick through someone's house and biting their legs. It is strange. THQ, of all the major corporation-type publishers, probably my favourite. When it comes to the Western asshole publishers, THQ was the best one. Had fantastic employees, like people magnificent at their job. Neil, whose second name I'm going to let someone else pronounce. Pabon. See, I'd have said Pabon and sounded stupid. Neil Pabon.
Oh, I might have said Pabon and sounded stupid. I don't know.
You both sound good.
Neil Pabon, who I once witnessed take zero shit from a cab driver who told him he had to take cash only. And Pabon just humiliated him. You know that video of the guy who squirted water at Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise just talked him down into a quivering mess? He did it with this guy over the credit card. And even gave him a $20 tip or something afterwards, just to rub the shame in. And the cab driver was so humiliated, he tried to give it back.
Whoa.
If that guy stays unemployed, it'll be a fucking travesty. A lot of people actually have been putting out support for Neil to get him especially hired, because the man was just that damn good at his job. So anyway, right now he's looking for work, which is sad. There are a bunch of other people who are looking for work. Fine people, very friendly people. THQ's employees are always very friendly. A lot of them now looking for work. I think many of them will fall on their feet, because I just think they're too good at their jobs to not. But it is sad and it is weird, and just a company that, at least towards the end, was seeming so committed to giving out good games, just fucking good games. You know, they had fantastic property, Saints Row, Darksiders, Metro, another one that I always know they've got and always forget, but is good. So yeah, it is a shame. So what's the state of play? We've got, hang on, let me get the post up.
Sega about something. Right?
Sega have Relic.
Okay.
Relic, of course, do Dawn of War. And they did Space Marine. I believe it was Relic, did Space Marine. It wasn't Vigil, was it? No, it had to have been Relic. But they did mostly the Warhammer 40,000 stuff. Quality stuff, great stuff. And so they're with Sega. Sega, of course, recently did a deal with Games Workshop to do something for Warhammer with Creative Assembly. So potentially, they've got Creative Assembly who are going to be doing Warhammer games, and they've now got the guys who did some of the best Warhammer 40,000 games. So that could be a pretty big coup for them. What else have we got? Koch Media, who you will know as the guys who own Deep Silver, who did Dead Island, and of course the far more famous Cursed Mountain.
I liked Cursed Mountain.
I never played it. It's all right. I should.
It's kind of slow and dull, but It's interesting.
Yeah, I like the ghost stories. It's a Buddhist ghost horror mountain climbing game.
Very much like this week's episode of Podtoid. We have had Buddhists in the form of your cult, almost,
Sure,
a bit,
sort of.
and
Sure.
ghosts, and mountains of ghost poo with rubber puppets. Anyway, so the Deep Silver guys now have Volition, who of course developed Saints Row, which is just massive for Koch. I mean, that's a big coup when you consider, like, I mean, I would argue that Deep Silver's biggest title right now is Dead Island.
Oh,
Unless
sure.
there's something massive that I don't know they do.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, when I think Deep Silver, all I think is Risen and Dead Island. So the fact that they're doing that now is pretty huge. And of course, Aubrey Norris does PR for Deep Silver, and she is amazing at the job. She's utterly fantastic. Writes the funniest press releases. And so the idea of her being in league with Saints Row is just perfect. I can see that being a lot of fun. And they got Metro as well. So Koch Media, Deep Silver, they got Volition and Metro. So hopefully Metro Last Light won't be affected. It sounds selfish when we say this. I know it's what all the gamers are thinking. Like, will the games be okay? Always sounds a bit self-serving, but...
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, you want to win at life, which means playing good video games. And it's implied that the people who wanted to make those games would win too if they got to finish them. So everybody wins. You just want all winners.
Yeah.
Yeah, all winners club. It's cool.
Yeah. Crytek, biggest winner. They got Homefront.
Yeah. Are they making more of that Homefront?
Yeah, they bought Homefront for $500,000. Which is...
I don't know if that's a good deal or not.
It's $499,999 too much. I'm terrible at math. I don't know if that was right. It's why I slurred it.
It's so weird with Homefront. I think about it all the time because that whole genre, I'm not interested in it for the most part anyway. So it's hard for me on the surface to just tease out what other people are going to find interesting about a new wartime first-person shooter. And people were really interested in Homefront. They're like, that's going to be really smart and really good. And then it came out, and people were really just like bad taste in their mouths. Yeah. But I know very few people that said, oh, it was so bad. Most people say, I really thought it should have been good.
Yeah, it was just a non-entity. And the thing is, I mean, I'm even surprised it sold at all. Like, I know Crytek are developing it. So, I mean, I guess it would make sense they bought it just to keep their work. But they could have kept their work and called it something else. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Ben Kuchera, maybe it was someone else on Twitter who said, like, Homefront, like, the idea and the style of it and the look of it is so cookie cutter. You could call it anything. Like, the name Homefront doesn't mean much to many people. They could have just called it something else and carried on developing on it, and we just have another game in which Korea is in America, and probably would have been better for it.
Are there a lot of... Is that idea done a lot, and I just haven't noticed, where the United States is taken over by a whole other government? And I thought it was pretty unique at the time, at least for games. I mean, of course, Red Dawn did it in movies, but it seemed
the idea as a game is unique, but the game itself, like the game Homefront, was such a non-entity that you could just say, you could just present it as a new original idea. You could just say, oh, hey, we've invented the idea of games being about Korea taking over America. And everyone would say, brilliant. I'm glad you invented that. Let's have a sequel. So anyway, Crytek have Homefront, so I guess they're going to bring out Homefront 2. And the world rejoiced. Take-Two bought Evolve. So that's a thing.
Who's this? What? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know. I know there's something involving Turtle Rock. Like, Turtle Rock are doing a game, and Take-Two picked that up. And Ubisoft got Montreal, their Montreal stuff, and the rights to South Park, The Stick of Truth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
which leaves Vigil fucking nowhere.
A lot of people's favorite in the bunch.
A lot of people's favourite. I wish that was reflected in Darksiders' sales. By far a crime. I literally don't know how Darksiders ever failed. It had the look that should have worked. It had the gameplay that should have worked. It stole from the best, and I mean that as a compliment.
Sure.
I don't know why it didn't do well. There's nothing telling me that Darksiders 2, at least, shouldn't have done well enough to be considered a success.
How long has it been? I know I'm probably barking up the wrong tree, but in my mind, there were a lot of people who love Legend of Zelda that don't want to play a Zelda-like game on other consoles. And then Darksiders 2 came to the Zelda console. And I really wondered how it did on the Wii U. I wonder how it's doing still. Because out of the launch lineup, it was pretty... people went through Zombie U and New Super Mario Bros. U and Nintendo Land pretty quickly. So that kind of left you with... Assassin's Creed 3, I guess. Or, Darksiders 2. It's got a purple guy. It's like Zelda. I should go buy that, right? But I wonder if people actually did that. I'd like to find out. And a lot of people on the internet, I was looking through my Twitter feed briefly while I was at my day job, scrolling through, and everyone from Jeremy Parrish to, I think, Ben Kuchera, and so many people are saying, oh, well, Nintendo obviously should buy Vigil and have them make Zelda-like games, or like a Darksiders Zelda crossover or something, and people would eat it up. But no, so far no one has bought them. And how long do they have to be sold? How long can they be eaten before they rot? I don't know. What's the eating time?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they do say that these games do need to make their money back quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first week or two of sales are like the important time. So I don't know. Clearly, something happened where people saw it and didn't want it. I don't know how or why, but that's...
Well, more of what I meant is, can they buy Vigil later? Like, how long is Vigil going to be on the market for?
Oh,
or are they
right.
just
Sorry,
closed and dead? Oh, that's my mistake. No.
I really don't know. I mean, what happens there? Like, if no one has if THQ disappears and no one buys it, like, who has that? Like, a guy? Is there a guy with it? I don't know really how that works. I'm not
I know
that
a little. I'll tell you what I know. Not very much. There is a guy who just has the rights to make a Beetlejuice game for the NES. And he's just like, nah, I'm not going to make it. And they're like, you could make it. He's like, I'll sell it to you for $15 and no one will buy it. I know that guy. So some guy might just have the Darksiders rights
I
forever.
want it.
Maybe you can buy it off him.
I've got $200 that I could probably part with without missing. I will give that to Jason Rubin at THQ, and I'll have Darksiders. I'll do something with it.
You probably could. Well, I was thinking, sincerely, of doing a Kickstarter to have you, Jim Sterling, sing and perform visually with your body in a cover video of Rock Me Tonight by Billy Squire.
Yes, I saw your suggestion there.
I'm not joking.
I love that that's like... Because you've done this before, like, all your dreams seem to be involve me recreating music videos.
Sure, as Salt and Peppa or somebody. But this is for real. Like, I've got a plan. I've got a whole Kickstarter incentive thing set up. I don't know if you'd be up for doing it, Jim. It would be a lot of work for you, honestly. But you would get a lot of the money. I mean, the money's going to go to the crew and the recording studio and your plane tickets, because we'd have to fly you up here for a couple of days.
Yeah,
but...
and I'd fly first class.
Well, sure, it's Kickstarter.
Only the best for my bottom.
I'm not... I mean, it's funny. Don't get me wrong. It's a funny idea. Haha, funny. I'm serious about this.
I'll tell you what.
This could be...
I'll tell you what. You get me first class tickets.
Mm-hmm.
You let me live in your house.
Well, I
straight away.
For a little bit. Yeah,
comes.
You could stay in my house. I was actually thinking I would sleep on the couch and...
no, we
I
can
don't
share.
know.
We can share a bed.
No. That's not
Just
the
make a
point
blanket fort in his living room and camp out.
Yeah, I will be king of your living room. I'll be duchess of your living room.
The point of the Kickstarter is not to get you to be the duchess of my living room. It's to make...
Maybe I'll make that Kickstarter.
I want my Kickstarter to win. I want you.
Yeah.
It would be... Have you seen the video?
Oh no, I watched it when you linked it.
What'd you
Billy
think?
Squire humping the air on his back and...
Yeah, he does so many stuffs. You could do those stuffs.
Yeah. Would it have to be that outfit?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me self-conscious. It's very...
Come on. You
It's
only live
very
once.
revealing.
YOLO. You got to do it. You have to make your footprint on the internet. Think about if we earn... Because this Kickstarter, it could get up there. It could get up to hundreds of thousands of dollars for this music video. I'm not kidding. It's that good of an idea. Yeah, it could.
Dear that it would. You realise it wouldn't look as good.
It would look better. I've got a great crew. If 20,000 people donated $5, then you've got $100,000 right there, right?
Yeah, how much of that do I get?
Almost all of it.
God, I would like almost all of it.
We should do it. The video crew, that'll cost me...
All right. What about Kickstarter rewards?
The first is a little drawing. You can just draw. You can draw them quickly, just like a smiley face with a little monocle, or the sunglasses. Jim Sterling. Oh, thank you. Actually, that's the $10 reward. $5 reward is just your name in the credits. $20 reward, blood, drawing, name in the credits, small vial of Jim Sterling's blood.
What?
$50, drawing, blood, urine. $100, drawing, blood, urine, name in the credits, semen. And you will make hundreds of thousands. You definitely clear $100,000.
I was almost on board with this.
Why wouldn't you? Come on. Are you telling me the weirdest thing you've done in your career is going to be sending your semen through the mail? That's not that weird.
That's probably a crime.
It's not. It's not a crime.
Is it not a crime?
No, it's not technically a crime.
All right, I'm interested now.
People will want to make their own little you in their minds, and they can do that with blood, feces, and semen, and you will be rich.
See, this is what Jonathan does. Like, my ideas are fantastical enough to where they're almost all right. This gets real, and it gets dark.
It's just, you got to know your audience.
It's just gone topsy-turvy today.
It's really, I feel like
I do know my audience.
Down-to-earth notion.
I do know my audience, and I don't think I have enough blood to supply the amount of my blood people will want.
Well, that's the thing. In order of how hard it is to produce.
Well, it may take a few months. We'll just have to indicate in the Kickstarter that it may take a few months for production. We can obviously limit the number of rewards.
And I'm not drawing this blood myself. You're going to have to do that, Jonathan.
I have to draw the blood?
Yeah, and it'll take a lot of effort. It's probably congealed with French fry fat. So you're going to need to like an industrial syringe.
I know a lot of they're called phlebotomists.
It's going to come out like McDonald's milkshake.
We may want to start now, actually.
Yeah.
To meet demand.
Not a ton of blood, just a little bit.
It's going to come out like yellow and thick. It'll come out like dog semen.
Wow. Specifically dog semen.
Yeah.
I really got you off track. I apologize.
I was...
We were talking before about how you were going to buy Darksiders.
Oh, yes, okay.
You could do a Kickstarter for that instead. Jim Sterling buys Darksiders.
The $100,000 Billy Squire Kickstarter?
Mm-hmm.
That's not off the table.
All right. I'm serious about it. I really think it's a weird enough world that you would get that money.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the video itself, the recording the song...
I don't want to draw blood.
You sure?
It's difficult for me. It is. Professionals can't find my veins through all the fat.
I know very
the
good
badness.
I'm
I was done by a guy in London, in the posh part of London, who I needed to get into this country, to live here. You know, I had to take a blood test and everything. And he stabbed me like 5 times and eventually got me in like the crook of the elbow, which bruised up like a fucker. I had a map of Europe in bruised black purple.
Would you rather do scabs then? Just like crusty scabs?
Oh my Christ.
You just need to scrape your knees up a bit and then there's a little scab farm there.
I'll take it under advisement.
It's an idea.
Yeah, it's an idea.
And the thing about the idea, unlike some of your ideas, Jim, no offense, this would actually work.
Oh my.
People would donate $50 for your scab semen and feces. And then they take pictures of themselves holding it on the internet like, I got it, guys. They'd really do it.
I'd be self-conscious to show people my semen.
Because the consistency, you'd be like, not impressed.
Yeah, they probably criticize it. Like, I don't know, it's not enough, it's too thick, it's too thin. I don't know what good semen is. I don't know if mine's right.
I don't know either.
I've got enough hang-ups. I've got enough criticisms and judgments in life. I don't need people critiquing my spunky juices.
You're so honest. See, you know what other people would have thought, Jim? The more cynical, mean-spirited, less innocent, sweet, good-natured folks. They would have faked the semen and the blood and the feces thing. They would have just, found some. Or faked it.
Or just took it from you when you were asleep, Jonathan. I will admit that was... I was thinking, while you're asleep, I'll give you a little wanking off into a Petri dish, just so I can compare the semen, and if yours is better, send that.
And weirdly enough, with our audience, if you were like, and for $2,000, I will steal Jonathan Holmes' semen, and you'll get it. There would be one guy. Not a ton of guys.
There would be more guys.
One guy? Let's not sell this short.
I don't know if there'd be a lot, but I'm pretty certain there's like that one Australian guy with a thick gray beard. Do you remember him? I've talked about him before.
Yeah.
Before I was on Podtoid, I think it was before anyway, just hosting the Destructoid show, not a huge following yet. We're just starting up. Look through the comments. Oh, that Holmes guy, he acts kind of gay. I don't like him. Oh, Tara's really hot. No. And then just, I want to fuck you, Jonathan Holmes. Like, what? And then I look at his profile. He's like a 55-year-old Australian guy just looking very angry and serious. So he would pay the money.
A jar of Holmes' spunky blood! $500 it is! Now fucking worries, mate!
Why did he want to have sex with me? There's a lot of other people he could... Anyway.
Who wouldn't, Jonathan? Who would?
Most folks.
Oh, dude, look, if we gave them a choice between my spunky blood and your spunky blood, it's going to be your spunky blood every time. 9 out of 10 cats prefer.
I don't think that's true. You sell yourself short, Jen. You have a lot of passionate fans, and as you should. You've dedicated your life to this work. Whereas, I dedicate a good amount of my life to it, but you've thrown in all the cards. Whole hog, they call it. And you've reaped the rewards as you deserve.
Yeah. Right now, some of our listeners are thinking of a joke with me and Whole Hog. I just want that noted, that I have recognised that. We can move on. Okay. I need to get someone... If there are any Podtoid listeners out there that are really bored, if you can just take a look at my semen, I'll send you some. And it needs to be someone I trust. Just look at it and make sure it's all right. I've always been self-conscious about my semen. Not interested in kids. Always decided that I'm sterile and it's a bad thing.
You decided you're sterile?
Yeah, from as young as 14. Just, I bet I'm sterile. That'd be just typical. I bet one day I'm trying for a baby with someone and it's just going to be my fault.
Yeah, it's funny. I've had exactly the same thought.
Nowadays, fine. I hope so. But, you just don't know. But always been self-conscious about my semen. Sorry, sometimes I hear myself when I talk. It's dreadful for me. Okay, what else happened? Jesus Christ.
Nintendo happened. That was
Yeah.
the thing. People who had said, Nintendo, whatever. A lot of them freaking out over today's news. I was happy with the news.
Cool
There was
stuff.
a lot of stuff I was pleased with. I wasn't freaking out. I was a little surprised that they revealed so much kind of E3 quality stuff this early on in the year, but at the same token, Wii U sales haven't been what I think Nintendo
Yeah.
hoped they would, and outside of a price drop, the only other thing you can do is just try to drum up excitement with video games, which they decided to do.
I think
And
they needed it.
yeah,
I think
and it seems
someone,
to have.
yeah. Again, I forget who said it, but someone else would point it out. Like, I think it was was it Jeff? No, it couldn't have been Jeff Rubenstein. It must have been someone.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, obviously it was someone, but it was someone who said that Sony could stand to do that themselves. Like,
Oh,
just come
sure.
out, like, even if it's just a logo, just to let people know that they fucking give a shit. That
Mhm.
they're aware of what they're doing. They're not just, like, acting like some single-celled organism just floating through space. So they could have taken a leaf out of their book and at least just told us what the Vita stuff is. Like, if they really got some, rather than this whole, this is going to be the year of it. Definitely for a minute. But Nintendo did good. They did well. They did well today. There was some stuff that
Mm.
got me excited. Yoshi's Epic Yarn
Mhm.
got me pleased because obviously I'm a big fan of Kirby's Epic Yarn. I'm mostly a fan of it for Kirby, but seeing them do that with Yoshi was very interesting.
Yeah,
I
the aesthetic
do,
choice fit. Mhm.
yeah, I like this idea that Kirby continues as an IP, as its own franchise, but the whole Yarn thing is its own property
Mhm.
that they can put just other Nintendo things into it. So like other franchises each get a turn to be this stringy, fun platformer thing. It's an interesting idea.
I'm trying to
I,
think if I've seen it done before. I don't think so. Have the aesthetic be its own series. I don't think I can think of that other than Street Fighter EX or something like that, which no one even really liked, and that only spanned Street Fighter. So yeah, no, I can't think of it. I think it might be a first.
yeah, and it'd be interesting to see them do that for other franchises that they're not really doing much with.
Like
I would
Metroid's Epic Yarn.
Metroid's Epic Yarn, yeah. I'd love to see Wario actually.
Yeah,
Wario's Epic Yarn would be cool.
that would fit.
So that was cool. What else did we have that was good? The
Um,
Zeno something.
Yep, a new RPG, or at least based on pedigree, people are assuming it's going to be an RPG. Looked a bit actiony, but that's all right. So did Xenoblade. When you just saw footage of the combat system, it was hard to tell if it was menu based totally or not.
Yeah, but the game's UI looks very similar to Xenoblade, so I'm assuming it's going to be very much a successor, if not a direct sequel.
And looking like it has online multiplayer. People were analyzing the screenshots, and that's a guess right now, which comes as a surprise, but it kind of makes sense. I mean, in Japan, Monster Hunter is the series to emulate right now, and big part of Monster Hunter's appeal is the multiplayer. So the fact that they're trying to include multiplayer in that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't be averse to it.
Yeah, it
You
could
know,
be good.
it's something. See, in any other case, the multiplayer thing always seems like a shoehorn tacked on follow the leader type thing. It's always just such a new idea when it comes to a Nintendo game that
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I'm willing to give it a chance. But yeah, it could be good. I know Dale's very excited about that, as well as they're doing a Shin Meganami Megubi Potensi
Yeah,
crossover with Dragon Emblem, is it?
with Fire Emblem,
Fire
and
Emblem,
they
sorry.
were teasing that it would. Oh, don't be sorry. It's okay. Fire Emblem, Dragon Emblem, close enough. Nobody's hurt by that. At least I hope not. Oh, wait, people are hurt by that. Someone actually got mad at you just now, didn't they? So weird, internet. But they were saying it might be a whole crossover between Nintendo and it's Atlas who makes it's Persona and Shin Megumi Tensei and Catherine. I mean, who knows? My immediate hope was it would be a Catherine Animal Crossing crossover. That'd be for me immediately. Just creepy, horny ladies and Tom Nook being in the same room. Anything's possible. And Nintendo said in their press conference, like this, we don't want you to think this is going to be an isolated incident. This is representative of Nintendo's new direction, which is sweeping up small Japanese developers who have a diehard following and they stay true to making the kind of games they want to make, regardless of how well they're going to sell. But they're not doing that well right now, and we're going to team up with them, just like how they did with Platinum, who needed someone to help them out because it didn't look like Sega wanted to do Bayonetta 2 on their own. So Nintendo's like, we'll team up with you and we'll publish the wonderful 101.
Atlas is having a problem right now.
Say that again?
I don't think Atlas is struggling in it.
They're not struggling, but they're not Nintendo level. They're not at, they're not.
Basically, Nintendo wants to take these guys and turn them into superstars.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
I think Nintendo wants to feed off their cred, because Nintendo has lost its cred hard in the eyes of a lot of people. Atlas has tons of cred, but they don't have AAA money to throw around. So Nintendo says, we'll give you some money, we'll take some of your cred. They're doing it with Platinum in the same way, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do it with other smaller Japanese developers.
It does excite me. That does. I mean, Nintendo's... We don't see too much of it over here, but they have done this before. Like, they work very closely with Koei.
Mm-hmm.
The Samurai Warriors 3 being a Wii exclusive, at least for a time, was because Nintendo was a big supporter of it. And that excites me when I see that, because, I mean, when Nintendo brings out a product, it's quality. It's quality, but, they do a lot of things that have seen them suffer from the cred loss, as you put it. So to see them working with other guys with a lot of cred and just bringing their flavor to it as well, like, that really excites me. We'll see how it goes. I mean, they could just do it this once and never do it again.
Well, Pokemon Conquest turned out pretty good too, right? That was another weird team up.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Fire Emblem crossover here. The two properties are ones I respect. I'm not necessarily into, so I'm not hugely excited about it. But I'm very excited about the potential it has for other things. I mean, I'm just thinking Nintendo getting into bed with Grasshopper, working with Swery 65. This stuff excites me.
And it's a relief for people who thought, well, Nintendo really doesn't care about people who care about video games anymore. They're after this other vast audience. It looks to me like, maybe I'm just, because I think the guys at Nintendo actually like video games. That's always the sense I've gotten from Miyamoto and Iwata, because they used to be down in the trenches working on smaller games years ago. They know what it's like to really dedicate your life to video games, regardless of how rich it's going to make you. Miyamoto didn't invent Donkey Kong thinking it was going to make him rich. It was a lark, but he really put himself into it and it paid off. But it seems like they want to go back to guys who are at now where Miyamoto and Iwata were like 25 years ago and give them the breaks that they would have liked back then. That's the feel I get from it. Kind of like, when the Beatles sign The Offspring or something. You remember The Offspring, rock and roll group.
I vaguely recall.
Oh, come on.
Vaguely
Really?
Vaguely recall.
They didn't actually sign The Offspring, but that would have been pretty cool.
Vaguely recall.
Rock and roll music? I thought you liked rock.
Yeah.
Jim, you liked rock, right?
I thought you just asked if I remembered The Offspring.
Yeah. No, why don't you get a job?
Well, I vaguely recall The Offspring.
Yeah?
I saw them in 96, I think.
What's the rock and roll hit, Conrad, that you like the most?
Well, I mean, it was part of a major festival show, so I wasn't exactly there to see them.
Nobody can think of an Offspring song.
Oh, sure. No, I mean, I like Pretty Fly for a White Guy, but I think that was mostly because of the girls in the music video dancing in the, third chorus.
They were all wet. Something.
Yeah, I had a roommate who kept bugging me. What do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday? And finally, we're just sitting there. She said, "That. Just get me that.
Just get
me that or nothing at all."
Their
solve the
big
whole
hit was something else, though, wasn't it? Low self-esteem. Yeah.
Well, that was I think that was like
Just
the
a
breakout
sucker
off the
with no
Smash album.
self-esteem. Yeah. Sorry.
But I mean, they continued to be successful pretty capably for about 3 albums after that, I think, and then I don't know what they're doing now. Don't
No.
really care.
Sorry, I brought it up.
No, don't be. That's fine. It's just yeah, I hadn't really given them any thought until now.
Yeah. What a strange episode this has been, guys.
Been
Didn't
a little
expect any
unusual.
of this. Yeah. Good times, though.
Good times.
It's been a fun old ride.
Oh, and Balloon Fight. I can buy that for 30 cents when we're done.
Oh god, yeah. What's the deal with that?
Oh,
Apparently, there's no straight
yeah.
story on this.
I don't know. I'm excited to find out. Either you buy it for 30 cents and get to keep it for 30 days, or you buy it for 30 cents. Yeah, it's like a fire sale. Like, all you people that want a balloon fight, you better get it quick, because in 30 days, it's not going to be 30 cents anymore. No one cares about balloon fight at all.
Well, they keep it comes out as an early release every single time now.
They're always like, hey guys,
balloon fight, and you know what the worst shit is that next it's going to be Wrecking Crew, and Wrecking Crew's not a bad game. Or what's the other one?
It kind of is.
Urban Brawler.
It's usually Urban Champion.
This Urban Champion. This is the company that thought that the games industry, the games buying public, was hungry for Urban Champion 3D.
Yeah. That was one of the happiest times I had reviewing a video game, and I thoroughly enjoy Urban Champion 3D in a weird way. Is
there another way to enjoy Urban Champion 3D?
Probably not.
Unaware of.
Yeah.
In many ways, Urban Champion 3D is the Podtoid of video games. You can enjoy it, but you shouldn't.
That's about right. Yeah. Should I do any questions, guys?
Yeah,
Or
let's get some
did we want to
questions
talk
going.
more about other things?
I'll be honest, I got all fucking night tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah. The lady wife is having dinner with some friend.
Oh.
Apparently, people get friends now. No
Well,
one.
Oh, baby, you got what I need.
Another thing I did not think was going to happen tonight.
Oh, it has been a Podtoid of ups and downs.
It sure has.
It's been
Mostly
a Podtoid of ups and downs. You want another weird thing? What is my favourite game? I actually mentioned it earlier. But I never thought I'd say this, that my favourite game of the moment is Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Yeah, you were going to talk about that. Please tell us why.
I don't know. But I delivered peas from Felixstowe to Calais and had the time of my fucking life. It's amazing. You get in a truck and you drive it.
Is it like Desert Bus? That weird game those magicians made? Penn and Teller made the Desert Bus game?
I mean,
that?
It's the same principle in a way. It's not like that insofar as it's this real-time, one-stop journey. They've reduced the times and that, so that you're not like driving in real time from London to France. But it still takes a fair
I'm sure that
time.
the reward feels greater, like there's a larger purpose to doing it, right? Can you...
Yeah,
you're building a business or something of that nature.
You earn money, then you can buy your own truck, which is as far as I've got. You can buy more trucks, expand your garage, start hiring people. Eventually you're building your whole trucking empire. As the game says, you're about to embark on your dream job.
I actually got my father Rig and Roll for Christmas, which is another one of those trucking simulators, and he's been playing it, which I kind of got it as a joke a little bit. He used to be an accountant for a trucking company.
That seems to be it. Like, you get these sims for a joke, and then it turns out they're pretty well done. And there's this weird sense of satisfaction you get from driving a truck full of ice cream to the destination on time and being told you did an excellent job, and you didn't get any speeding tickets, and you didn't smash up your truck, and you got there on time. You made sure you were fueled.
You can get arrested, or can you like run a red light, or
you run a red light? You know, you could lose money. You get fines. If you crash, you can damage your truck. It's all expenses, Jonathan. I'm trying to run a business. I can't just hemorrhage money.
Now, does anybody ever approach you with, maybe carrying some other material?
No. There's no. I did convince Alex for a brief period that you could take drugs. You could You could take cocaine and speed to help you along. But no, there's eventually. I mean, there's a leveling system. It's fucking Final Fantasy this, but with trucks. Leveling system, so you can like earn more money doing certain types of jobs, or spend less fuel, or eventually upgrade to transporting hazardous goods, explosives, and oil and stuff.
Wow. Huh.
So there's a lot to do, and there's like dozens of internet radio stations that you can stream from across Europe, from UK to France to Denmark.
The real internet radio stations?
Real radio stations. So, I'm blasting out like 80s French pop music, or M People, or Muse, or Franz Ferdinand's, while I'm driving down the motorway and making sure that I'm staying the speed limit, and I look both ways, and I put the windscreen wipers on when it rains, and I don't crash. It's actually quite challenging. Like, you can just get lost in the moment. You start getting excited, Good tunes come on, maybe Usher's Yeah. And you start thinking, yeah, yeah. And all of a sudden, you're ramped up to 60 miles per hour in a 50 zone. That's bad, Jonathan Holmes.
It sounds, yeah. I know a lot of people who would judge you for that.
Yes.
Harshly.
For
doing your job that way.
You can look out the window.
It's a special thing, something I think that I'm going to get preachy. I'm going to time myself, make sure I don't go over 30 seconds. Video games can make stuff that sucks fun. That's part of what's special about them. So many of them just give you all these tasks that you're like, oh, I hate tasks. That's what I hate about life. But what makes video games different from other things, it makes the task something you're not only enjoying doing, but you're excited about getting better at. And I think too often they think, oh, we've got to entertain you and keep you interested in the ways other mediums would. When you don't have to do that, you can just give a guy a truck and be like, here's your game, be a good truck driver. Or in Animal Crossing, be like, here is a house, make it a good house, and, pick some fruit. And people love it.
Yeah,
Animal Crossing is the best-selling 3DS game in Japan ever. Already 2 million something. Outsold Monster Hunter, outsold Mario, outsold Mario Kart. That school of design is wonderful. Wish more people grasped it.
There's a catharsis to those kinds of games. It's just, it really puts the leisure aspect of gaming at the forefront.
Sure.
And there's something interesting about that. Like, I mean, Euro Truck Sim 2 is a leisurely experience, but at the same time, there's still a lot of challenge there. I think that's what people have liked about it. Like, it's very cathartic to play, very calming to play. But at the same time, like, there's still this pressure to do a good job.
Sure, combining those is a great design choice. Yeah.
And, you could take an easy job if you just want a nice little drive around, or you can get ambitious, and start getting on the ferry, going all across Europe, taking 10-hour jobs. And I think a lot of people did buy it for a joke. And when I first started playing it, for the first at least 20 minutes, I was just laughing out loud. Just pootling my truck down the A2, just going, ha 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 ha! I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm so ironic, guy. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, gotta get these peas.
That's how I felt about Aeroporter, a game I always intended to write a review for but never did, which was the Odama and Seaman guys' new game, where you just gotta sort baggage, just sort it out good, get it on the right plane. You're like, oh, how ironic, this is going to be so dumb. It's not. It's really exciting and fun and relaxing at the same time. There's just kind of they play like airport music the whole time, and like, how when you're in the airport, especially Japanese airports, there's like ding dong, konomata Sanda horo koro horone. I don't know. Just like, oh, that's so relaxing. Just a Japanese babble. It's that going on the whole time while you're sorting. The red bags, get them on the red plane. Yellow bags, get them on. And it's hard. Unlike the Euro Trucker. Is that the name? Euro Trucker. Something
Euro
too?
Truck Simulator 2.
Euro Truck Simulator 2. Unlike that, which lets you choose how terrible of a job you want to have. Aerial Porter is always just super hard and scary. You always feel like you're going to screw up. But that makes it all the more exciting when you totally win and get a combo. You can get baggage sorting combos. And a weird Japanese man goes, "Combo!" It's like, are you angry at me? Are you excited? I can't tell. Yeah, I should really write that review. It's not too late, right? Aerial Porter?
No.
No, I've got the week off for my day job next week.
I did
so.
like Metro 2033 2 years after it came out.
Oh yeah, and people were appreciative. It's better late than never. Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and do Velvet Assassin.
That would be awesome. That would make me feel great. I love to because we're at this time.
You couldn't pay me to play it. In fact, I am paid to play it, and I stopped.
I'm at this time though where I'm having a lot of fun looking back on this generation, which is more or less winding up, winding down. I mean, and so many games that just came and went. That for a time people were talking about them all the time, and now are just completely forgotten. There was some Sega game just called Viking that I totally forgot existed, and I was just looking it up, and they were hyping it up so hard. You are the Viking. You are the one who kills as a Viking. Like, so trying to, and then just came out and totally
Viking Battle of Asgard.
Do you remember it?
I reviewed it, sir.
How was it?
7.5, if I recall correctly.
It was okay.
It was a good little game. Had its problems, but as a brainless hack and slash action type thing, it did the business.
Everyone forgot it existed, and just one came out last year called like Blood Force or something.
Bloodforge. Not
Blood
so
Forge.
good. Not so good.
Already everyone forgot it existed.
Yeah. I've heard I'm still on the leaderboards for that. I might not be now, but like I think Conrad, you told me, didn't you? Like weeks after launch, I was still on the leaderboards because no one was playing it.
Oh, that's sad for Blood Forge. I actually co-reviewed that for Anthony Carboni's show, New Challenger. That was weird. I didn't think I'd end up playing Blood Forge in my life, but I did. I liked the art direction a little more.
I might do a story actually on these old forgotten, the action ones in particular.
That could be fun.
I'm thinking
Saboteur. No one talks about that anymore. This is not a bad game.
Yeah, I'm thinking in particular the swords and barbarian-y ones because there were a lot. You had Viking, you had Bloodforge, you had Golden Axe Beast Rider, you had Conan. No one remembers Conan for Xbox 360.
Forgot Conan.
Yeah, not the MMO, the actual action game. That was a piece of junk. I'm sure there were others that I just can't remember. Just these particular... For some reason, it was a thing, this generation of, barely clothed, muscular men stabbing things and being forgotten. Like, none of them became huge. Just these obscure Battlemen games.
I can't think of one that got huge, no. Except, I guess Skyrim is kind of a game like that, but not really.
Not really, and it's already a big name.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Huh. Well, I'll do the questions, if that's okay.
Let's do it up.
As much as I enjoy the chat, I should probably move forward. And a lot of people are asking them early. I asked people not to ask early, which made them ask early. I should have known. But I'm trying to accommodate everybody. So if you did ask early, I'll at least try, but you're less likely to get noticed because you'll be pushed down on the feed. Jay Solomon, Sir Jay the First, who sent me a Don Hertzfeldt DVD. Thank you, Sir Jay the First. I haven't watched it yet, but all the same, what a nice gesture. You didn't have to do that. He wants to know what your plans are for the Darksiders license. We already talked about that a little bit, but if you did get the license, Jim, and you just were now a guy who could make a low-budget Darksiders game, would you want to make like a 2D action game because that's something you could afford to make, or would you want to try to get people who knew how to use Unity and make like a weird low budget polygon based thing, what would you do?
To start with,
Mm-hmm.
just something relatively low risk.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you're saying about the 2D. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking 2D brawler.
Mm-hmm.
In the same vein as, say, a Streets of Rage or a Castle Crashers.
Oh, cool.
4-player co-op. Play as one of the Four Horsemen. And just go around smashing stuff up.
I'd play it, and I can
Yeah,
think
I'm down for that.
Give that some
3.
retro graphics. Give it some nice
Sure.
pixely stuff going on. That'd be good.
I can think of at least 3 guys who would love to help you make that game that are really good at pixel art. They would just need to get paid.
Let's do it. Well, as soon as I get the license, we will do Darksiders fighting for your friends.
That's a genre that I know it's old and people maybe are sick of it. I sure am not. I would be happy if a new cooperative brawler came out every month. I'd be happy to play a new one every month. Never get sick of them.
There's really not been that many. Like it was a dead genre until Castle Crashers came along, and even then, I mean, there's not been that many. Certainly not notable ones.
I sure wish there was more.
Shit
Code of
like
Princess
that.
is good.
What was that one that came out? The Luca Libra one. It was so awful.
Guacamelee?
Guacamelee.
No, that's not
is that the one?
Guacamelee.
No.
That's not out yet.
Guacamelee was it was something else. It was, but you were Mexican wrestlers, and it tried to be a brawler. It was a load of old dirty tramps underpants. Wasn't good.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't make more of them. I've been wanting to make one called Violence Road ever since I was in college. I've had it all planned out. It's 3 nerds take the week off from their stressful jobs and just decide to kick everyone's ass in the street. Just a violence road. They're just such angry jerks. Be a lot of fun. I'll never get to make it though. Anyway, yeah. So that would be fun. Good answer, Jim. I would be happy to help you do that. Aiden O'Dwyer asks, any games you think would make a good cartoon show for either kids or adults? Or if so, who should write or handle it? I would want Jim to make the Animal Crossing show for children.
I would be in jail within a week.
Jim can take a tiny idea and expand on it in directions you would never expect.
Like my penis.
Every week on Podtoid, you can hear Jim say, "Oh yeah, we should put a pedestal around a pizza box." He didn't know he was going to say that. And then 20 minutes later, we're in a hallway filled with Heathcliff drawings, and I'm giving a blowjob to a scarecrow. That's what Jim can do, and that's what a good game of Animal Crossing is like. You take a little idea, and before you know it, you've crafted this big experience out of it, where you've run around and you've got to do this and you got to do that and you got to get home in time and you got to buy that furniture. Taking minutia and expanding the feeling of the minutia into a huge thing is Animal Crossing, and it's also Jim Sterling. I think that would be a perfect fit. How about you guys? Any ideas about that thing? It's okay if you don't.
Trying to think of games that don't already have cartoons. Because I'd be interested in a Dead Space one, but they had animations and they weren't that good.
No, and I think he did say kids or adults. Man, Assassin's Creed cartoon would make me want to die. Oh, just them talking about different factions and historical figures. Oh, it would make me super sad. Luther Strode comic book. That would be fun to see that in a cartoon. Oh, he was talking about games. Yeah, I got nothing.
Ilo Milo.
I'd like to see some really goofy-ass Alan Wake cartoon. You know, like where every week Alan Wake has another adventure. Like, you know, in the tone of like The Adventures of James Bond Jr. or some crap. And he's like a teenage Alan Wake, you know, and he's into comic books and not, you know, novels. And oh, man.
Whoa, that's amazing. And that would be pretty low budget, too. Yeah, you could do that.
I love the Alan Wake license, but I'd like to see it totally destroyed for its pretension at the same time.
And they seem to. I haven't played a ton of Alan Wake, but what I did like about it is they knew how to balance making fun of themselves a little bit
Oh yeah.
with the seriousness of the tone and everything. Yeah, Alan Wake. All right, 68 questions came in. Yikes.
Oh my god.
More people are asking questions, but not more people are listening, right? We didn't suddenly get more popular, did we?
I haven't checked the listens in a while.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason, people are catching on. McFly Gold, who I desperately want to get help on Teenage Pokemon from him. I hope he's helping me. He's so mysterious. He's a wonderful man and a great computer graphics animator. He's working on some Teenage Pokemon stuff. I hope. God damn it. Please do it. He wants to know what we think of Wind Waker HD having graphics like Team Fortress 2. It doesn't. There's this new thing.
I got a bone to pick with you, Jonathan.
You do?
Yeah.
Me?
You said earlier today on Twitter
that
if somebody said that Wind Waker had graphics like Team Fortress 2, you would fart on them.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately responded with the expected response. I want my delivery, sir. I want what I paid for. I want my face and in my soul. I want you to fart into my soul.
I don't know if you know this, but Tara Long actually beat you to that, which I did not expect. Oh! She was immediately like, you fart on me.
Undercut. She better let me smell her afterwards. Needs to share.
Yeah, I think that's why McFly is asking that question, not because he really cares, because he knows it doesn't really look like Team Fortress 2. But there is this weird new thing that made me sad yesterday. Mike Bithell, creator of Thomas Was Alone, was telling me about it. If any game has polygon-based graphics, HD, looks like some money was put into it, but they're not going for realism. They're going for like a Pixar type look or like Viva Pinata type look or something like that. Then people say, "Oh, it's a like Team Fortress 2 graphics," and that order, like Team Fortress 2, not Team Fortress 2 like, which at least has a little bit of a ring to it. But they're just defining this entire look by one game. That makes me sad. You know me. I get sad about these things. I won't fart on you.
I mean, these are the kind of people that said things like, was it Lord of the Rings was a rip-off of, I don't know, something that came out last week.
Yeah,
this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's hard to get too head up about it.
I try not to, yeah. But I was already expecting people who don't know anything about the Wind Waker. People who don't know anything about the series just saying, "Oh, Team Fortress 2 ripoff." I was anticipating that, so I thought I would fart on anyone who does. And then you, Jim, I knew you didn't really mean it. You just wanted to fart, didn't you?
Oh, got me pegged. Always looking for a free gassy outlet.
Ryan Beeler asks, do you think JRPGs are making a comeback? Nino Kuni and Xenoblade have been pretty successful. I don't remember JRPGs going away, did they?
I think, like 2D platformers, the industry lost a bit of faith in them. Mm-hmm. But then again, I mean,
they're always kind of around.
They're always around, yeah.
Gone away.
They were never huge, though, either. Like, Final Fantasy was a big superstar one. But the others were never, like, massive franchises. And I guess this generation has been all about trying to make everything a massive franchise. So maybe they thought, well, we can't really do that with a JRPG. It takes a lot to make them. They're very long. So customers get their money's worth, which we don't want. Let's not do them so much. And we had some come out, and not many of them were that great. Lost Odyssey I loved, but after that I played things like Infinite Undiscovery, and I've said before, a lot on old Podtoid. I don't know if I've ever brought it up on the new Podtoid, but Infinite Undiscovery almost destroyed my love for Japanese role-playing games single-handedly.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was built of every bad trope in Japanese RPGs, that it made me hate other Japanese RPGs by proxy, just because they were so bad in this one, I became sensitive to them in others, and it really made me angry with the whole thing.
So
And
it's like the anti-Ni no Kuni in that way, because your review of Ni no Kuni is like everything I like about JRPGs in one thing.
yeah, in a way. But, I slowly got my love back for it. It's funny that a lot of people say that I hate Japanese RPGs. Whenever I give a positive review to one, they're like, oh my god, he gave this good score. Clearly it must be good. Or oh my god, Jim's on crack because he likes a Japanese role-playing game. And they say that every time I give a positive review to one. And the fact they've done it enough times to where it annoys me suggests I probably give quite a few high scores to Japanese role-playing games. I might like the genre. Just maybe. Just maybe. I look...
Well, how sad do you get when people just think they know you and they're just totally wrong?
It's gotten quite tiresome.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's a special, and I don't know why I get so annoyed about it, but I sometimes get very annoyed when people are like, "Come on, Holmes, you're a positive guy. You're always happy." I'm like, "We've never met. You don't. You listen to me on a show once a week where I'm mostly just listening to my friends talk about doing terrible things to me. Do you know that
with love.
With love. And I am a relatively positive guy, so I'm told by other people. But at the same time, when it's just a weird feeling when people come to you with an expectation that you're supposed to like certain things or not like certain things, and they have never talked to you before. It feels weird.
I think especially in my case it came just because obviously I gave Final Fantasy XIII the score I gave it, and the logic for a lot of those people were, well, he must hate Japanese role-playing games. There's no way he could just dislike one game. He has to hate them all.
Quite the opposite. I always thought because I know you love Final Fantasy VII, you liked Dragon Quest VIII quite a bit on the DS. And then since then you liked Xenoblade a lot and now Ni no Kuni a lot. I've always thought, well, you know what makes a good JRPG, so when they screw it up, you're going to be especially disappointed.
Well, I think if we got all the Japanese role-playing games that I've reviewed for Destructoid together, probably give them out more positive than negatives. It's just people pay attention to the negative ones.
Yeah.
Because I loved fucking the Dragon Quest on DS. I loved Suikoden and Tia Chris.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Loved Ni no Kuni, of course. Lost Odyssey. Many of them. Xenoblade was great.
Sure.
Last Story I didn't like. Doesn't mean I hate Japanese role-playing game. People are very... If you hate one thing in a genre, they assume you hate the whole genre. It's a disturbing lack of nuance in people's thought. Anyway, what the hell were we talking about? We got self-indulgent again.
That was fun for me, though. I like talking to you about you. Stealth, our old friend, asks, was this Nintendo Direct proof... Oh, I didn't read that properly. Was this Nintendo Direct proof that other companies should do similar and not wait for E3? I think if you've got something really big to say, E3 I've been saying for a long time, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to just choke the attention of the readers and the capacity of those in the video game press with so much information at once that you can't take it all in, whether you're at the show or not.
Nintendo's for a while to have their own events, the week before the big event, so that all the attention is focused on them for that week. It's just another marketing strategy, and I'm sure we will have more announcements coming out of them around E3 time. That maybe not massive scale, oh my god stuff, but things, and so they're just finding better ways of spreading it out through the calendar and maintaining control of the news, because it's become a little more important to them that they do that. There's enough competition between the various manufacturers and publishers.
I think it helps in terms of because E3 is not really strictly for us. Mainstream eyes are on the game industry at E3. They want Yahoo, they want the BBC, they want the guys that don't normally cover games a whole lot to look at their stuff. So they bring out the stuff that's going to be appealing to everyone. So things look a bit mushy, a bit grey, a bit indistinct, because they're trying to go for the lowest common denominator type crowd. It doesn't make it entirely okay. I mean, it doesn't make it cool when Microsoft comes on stage and talks about nothing to do with games ever, and it's just fucking NFL shit. But again, I mean, I guess I see the logic there. You know, people that aren't that interested in games they're watching, they might be interested in that. But Nintendo's always caught shit for this. Like, it comes out, does its E3 press conference, it's full of quote-unquote kiddie casual shit that nobody likes. Apart from that one year where they went mental and just start hitting us with Golden Sun and Donkey Kong and all that shit. But that one anomaly aside, they normally get shit for their press conferences, but this helps them get basically everything they want. They get to still do their E3 press conferences, and people won't be so mad at them because there's all this other stuff coming that they've announced in Nintendo Direct stuff, which is directly for the crowd that will criticize them. So, in a way, they get to keep everyone happy. I mean, I'm sure there'll people still be bitching them out for having a shitty E3 press conference, but they've managed to buffer that criticism by saying, well, we gave you dozens of little press conferences throughout the year just for you. Mm-hmm. So it's a wise strategy, and I'm surprised that Sony at least. I'd be surprised if they've not considered it. Actually, I wouldn't because they're Sony.
What is my take on them? I think Microsoft is just so in tune with what the Western market wants right now, and are untouchable when it comes to that. But when it comes to Japan, they're just a lost cause. So they're kind of half and half. Nintendo, of course, once had the entire world loving them, and now have burned a lot of people, but seem to be making a conscious effort to win them back. Where Sony, I'm just kind of like, what are you? Are they just asleep at the wheel? It's almost giving me like a Konami feeling lately, where they just like forgot that they were supposed to care about getting people excited about what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I've felt they've been that way for a while. It's weird. They exist to make and release a physical product, and then fuck off and move on to the next thing. That seems to have been their MO for a while.
I don't feel like they used to be like that. Maybe it's just rose-colored glasses, but I don't remember the PlayStation 1 feeling that way at all. Like, back in PlayStation 1 days, I could care less about Nintendo, and I was all about what the PlayStation 1 and the Saturn were doing. Well,
Sony's always been very good at capitalizing on the mistakes of others.
Mm-hmm.
The original PlayStation, of course, came about because they got stiffed on a deal. Mm-hmm. They were up against Sega, who we all know what happened with Sega.
But Sega was an up-and-comer at that point. People really thought they may... I remember more people were calling video games their generic word for it. It used to be, oh, let's go play some Nintendo, even if it was, an Atari or something. But they started saying, let's go play some Sega. Like, Sega was becoming video games to people.
Well, it was at that time they'd made their big mistakes.
I don't remember that at all.
I promise, Conrad, I wouldn't make that up. It was happening.
I was a Sega guy. Like, I was the kid who had the Genesis on the block.
Yeah,
I don't remember that popular opinion swinging.
Yeah, they fucked up. It was around that when Sony, was getting ready.
Yeah.
They come out with the Sega Saturn, which was handled terribly, miscommunicated, came out like fucked developers over, came out suddenly, and just shocked the market in a bad way.
It's on store shelves now.
Yeah, and everyone was like
$500.
Yeah, and they were like, fucking what? So Sega fucked itself, and Nintendo at that time I think was treading water, which carried on with the N64. Trod water a bit. Was struggling to cope with the whole 3D thing. We had the Dreamcast from Sega, which was ambitious but cursed. And again, that allowed Sony to just sort of bowl up and say, we're here with our DVD player and our game player, give us all your games. And then the industry said, have all our games. You want Final Fantasy games? You can have them. Just have them. Then they cleaned house. And unfortunately for them, Microsoft had kicked in late in that generation with the Xbox, were getting their practice in. Nintendo, of course, had the giant success with the Wii U after the GameCube, which again didn't do too well. And I say didn't do too well, I mean compared to.
The GameCube did terribly.
he means the Wii. The Wii did dramatically successful.
And then suddenly the Wii just kaboom, shook up the market. Xbox 360 came out strong, took the West. Sony believed, and you go back and watch their famous press conference where they announced the price of the system and everything, and just the disastrous games that they had to show. Like, they were so confident that we're PlayStation, we're too big to fail. We can't fail now. Everyone else has made mistakes. We cleaned house. We're massive. And then they were the ones that made the mistakes, and they were so complacent they didn't know what to do because the other companies weren't fucking up anymore to make them look so good.
So as long as Nintendo and Microsoft don't make any mistakes, then Sony's kind of screwed, it sounds like.
Well, I mean, they don't seem to know how to cope anymore. They and maybe they are coping, but the message they send when they come out and just keep promising shit that doesn't come, when they just keep saying, oh, we've got stuff, and then they don't have stuff, just sends the message that they don't... Like, if you've got stuff, tell me what it is. Name the things.
Yeah, Vita-wise, I think something fun got announced for the Vita recently. Some random indie game that I didn't see coming. It wasn't Dive Kick. Maybe it was Dive Kick. That'll be on the Vita. That's a 2-button fighting game that was made as a joke, but it's actually really fun, by Keats, who's a fighting game expert. That's what I'm excited about, I guess, for the Vita. Dive Kick, and then that one Inafune game. I think it's called Soul Sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then
that's an interesting game. I don't know if I'm gonna play it. But
I'm not saying they're interesting games, but from Sony, I really, and maybe I've just been slow on the news, but I can't remember them saying they're making a game for that console that they put out.
All they do is say they've got stuff coming.
Okay.
They never name anything.
All right, just checking. I thought maybe I missed something. Because I don't have a Vita yet. I just instinctually don't follow the news for consoles I don't have as much. I plan to get one as soon as there's a price drop or more than 5 games I want for it. But yeah, no price drop either, man. They're weird. Let's see. Ain't It Funny 69? Johnny Strunior, a guy who I like. We've had a strange relationship on Twitter, but it's never been stronger, Johnny and I. He asks, Podtoid question. I owe my mom $150 for rent and a gay at my work, $50. But my next check will be $72. How do I make money fast?
Sell drugs.
He needs to make a gay at my work.
Gay at my work. Classy. Classy indeed, our listeners.
And please, be nice to Johnny. Johnny is a good guy. But Johnny Johnny, I hope you don't take this as an insult, but you can come on a little rough sometimes. I think his first comment to me was like, you dumb fag, something. He was really mean to me at first. Me. But now we're buddies, Johnny and I. Yeah. In my mind, we are.
Maybe he could get people to pay him to not say homophobic things.
There's got to be a market for that.
Make a nice little earner there.
Yeah, I don't think he is homophobic. I think it's just his roughness around the edges.
Oh, it would be easier for him to start the job up then if he's not. Just don't say those things.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't call people fags, maybe.
You shouldn't. And call people a gay.
He's
a guy. You can call him a guy. Maybe he meant a guy.
Maybe he misspelled a guy. Let's assume the best.
Yes, the A and the U are very close to each other on the keyboard.
They sound similar.
Yeah. I mean, he could have been typing on a skateboard. He could have been doing radical 360 tricks.
Phonetically, I make phonetic typos all the time. I just will spell a word wrong, or use a different word that just sounds like that word instead of like tryst. I'll write like Trisket or something. Just for no reason. Just like it's not.
I like to think that you and I, Holmes, are often embroiled in a lover's trisket.
So maybe you did that. How do you make money fast? You can donate blood. Just don't donate too much. And
plasma, actually, really, really profitable.
Yeah, he could probably make that. It's by my math, he owes someone $180 and $28. He could probably make that in a couple of weeks. They're just gonna have to wait. All right, so we helped him. We helped Johnny.
We helped him. Hey.
He has been helped. Jorge Sanchez asks, "What are your thoughts on companies that picked up studios?" Oh, we talked about that already. Sorry, but hi, Jorge. Nice to see you. Insane Ian, our friend, wants to know, when will the Jonathan Holmes' Arse tribute album be released? I hear it features songs by Wham, Gary Glitter, and Jim Sterling. Oh, you. People are asking, though.
Hey, Holmes.
Yes.
Jonathan, you're all scratchy again, mate.
Oh, no, sorry.
It's literally the worst thing you've ever done.
I'm going to lean forward again. I don't know why it is. Anyway, is it better now?
Yeah.
Oh, good. People have been asking Jim for you to put songs on Bandcamp or SoundCloud or something. I get questions about that a couple times a week, at least. I don't know why they don't ask you. They, of course, ask me.
They do ask you a lot of questions about me.
They sure do.
It is weird.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, you should do that. You do have a musical talent. That's why I think the Billy Squire thing. It's gonna really. What I love about the idea, what I love about my own idea, is that people who don't know you, they're gonna think, "Wow, this is just a guy who really loves Billy Squire, and he's gonna pull this video off very well, and he's gonna sound good when he sings it."
Oh, I've got to sing it as well.
Yeah.
It's not just recreate the thing to his music.
No, you fly out here. There's a recording studio. I'm friends with a guy who runs it. He'll give us a deal. Probably only cost us like $500. He'll do all the instrumentation. He's a brilliant musician. He can play every instrument very well. Really nice, funny guy too. Just kind of fun to spend the day with him. So we'll record the song. He'll spend the day mastering it. The next day, we'll spend that day in the on set. The set will have perfectly recreated the Billy Squire's bedroom, shot for shot. There's going to be some choreography. I've got a choreographer on standby who can help you through the moves. And there's really nothing about this that could go wrong. We just need the money. Truly, this will be the footprint that... Because, I'm working on a lot of projects.
I just love that you believe it, so...
I do, 100%.
Your passion inspires me.
I really mean it. You guys know I'm working on stuff. I'm working on Teenage Pokemon every night. I was up till like 2:30 on it last night. I'm writing stuff for this new magazine called Nintendo Force, which is actually doing pretty well. We didn't fail on the first issue, so that's neat.
Nice.
Yeah. Working on Destructoid things, reviewing Tokyo Crash Mobs. But this Billy Squire thing, it's bigger than all the rest. It's more important in my mind.
Wow.
It's what I want us to be remembered for. Let's see. I don't know if we can do any more of these questions. I scroll around them, but it's stuff we already ended up talking about. A lot of Nintendo Direct questions. Yakin Vikan Defoe, can't believe he's real, asks, how come Microsoft often seems like the bad guy, but Bill Gates is super nice? I didn't know Bill Gates was super nice. I thought he was actually pretty cutthroat and tough.
He's intensely philanthropic.
That's true.
Very charitable, man.
And he seems, and I think he's very genuine about that. But when it comes to, when bitches be all up on your shiz for your money, you can't play.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I mean, he's not the kind of guy who is going to stand for owing a gay at his work any money.
Yeah, I think Bill Gates is an interesting guy, and I don't think Microsoft...
Bill Gates isn't really even involved in Microsoft now. Much.
He's still on the board, I think, but that's it. He's not. He's like the old. He's the old timer on the board. He's the guy that you go to for wisdom.
Yeah, you got you take one knee and kiss the signet ring on his hand for his blessing. No, Steve Ballmer's the guy calling the shots, and he's a lizard man. You just look at him, and he's a lizard beast, and he loves it. He loves being him.
He is definitely like all id.
Yeah, he is just a. Krang from Turtles.
He's Krang.
If Krang was a guy, it would be Steve Ballmer. Just this pointy-tongued demon. He's a djinn. That's what he is. He's a djinn.
Yeah, I'm not that interested in the Microsoft side of video games, but I will watch Balmer do anything. And I'll feel afraid, and I'll feel excited, and I'll feel interested, and then I'll feel disgusted, and I want to look away, and then I'll look back, and then I won't stop looking.
That
Because
man
he's
will
pretty
fuck
amazing.
your dreams. You'll be asleep and dreaming, and there's just this cock will come in, and then you'll wake up screaming, and Bulmer will be there, like naked, but in the corner of your bedroom, up on the ceiling, like just up there, suspended in nothing, just his feet and his hands splayed against the corners of the room, and he'll just look at you and just go, "Ah!" And you're just like, fucking hell, Steve Ballmer, you gin bastard.
Well, that's the thing about him. He's weirdly, no matter how terrifying he is, you kind of just like, oh, Balmer. You're just running across the stage. You weigh like 300 pounds. You're soaked with sweat, and you're like screaming, "Yeah!" And you're like, "Oh, you're fine.
You
You're
see
not
him
a
at the
bad guy."
CES conference, the way he ran out, like hunchbacked
Yeah,
and rubbing his fingers and his
that's
tongue
exactly what I
hanging out.
mean.
He's like a Disney villain's henchman.
Yeah, which are always kind of lovable. I like that Balmer.
He is Iago.
Sure, he's the little tramp. Is that one? No, forget it. I failed.
The
Sorry.
little tramp.
I just said that. I don't know. I'm gonna go on to another question. Quiet Lightning God asks, do you think that Nintendo learned from the Wii's perceived shortcomings? Which is interesting. I think they did, but I think I really don't think the Wii U is going to do that good. I think it's for a while. Lately, I was thinking this might end up GameCube level of just lack of interest because just going by how it seems to be selling and from what I hear from people, the people who like it love it, just like they did with the GameCube, and the people who don't care just totally don't care at all, and they're not. And when you go to stores, they're just fully stocked with them. But after today, I was hearing a lot of people saying that they didn't care at all about the Wii U, but now they're determined to buy one just to play a new Yoshi game and a new Zelda game, which I guess they didn't think were coming before, but now that like a lot of people are saying, oh, I thought Nintendo was done with games like that for some reason. But I always knew they were going to make more stuff, just like they announced today. But anyway, some people didn't think that was going to happen. And I guess that was because of the Wii. The Wii really made people think Nintendo had changed for good and weren't going to do games like they used to. And for those people, yeah, today was a big deal. But overall, the Wii U just is not going to appeal to the broad audience that the Wii did. And the exact same things that people hated about the Wii made other people love it. Like, you tell moms, it has no online. They'd be like, yeah, awesome. I hate it when my kids play games online. I'm buying that one. Or, it's got old graphics, so it's cheap. Oh, awesome. It's only $100. I'm buying it. Like, I don't know if a lot of people realize that so many of the things people hate about the Wii is why it was so popular. And the Wii U is doing the opposite of those things. And as a result, I think it's going to not be as popular as the Wii. Being the anti-Wii is not actually a way to succeed financially, sadly. Whoa, that was a rant. Sorry, guys. Didn't think I was going to do that. Thought I was just going to talk for a few seconds. I went nuts. My bad.
Yeah, it's a good talk.
Was all right?
Yeah, you did all right.
And how?
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. And did you guys want to speak to that? I don't want to be...
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. Just checking. Patrick Daggs asks, are there any good books on violent video games? Ones that aren't crazy, I mean. I'm doing a research paper on them. I would always recommend Grand Theft Childhood. It's an amazing book, very well done. Qualitative research on violent video games. I know you've read some too, Conrad, right?
Well, yeah, I would recommend Grand Theft Childhood as well. I think it's a fine example. I've read Jack Thompson's book Out of Harm's Way, and boy, that's good for a laugh. I don't recommend anybody buy it just because don't give that man any money. But if you can borrow it from your local library, yeah, that's humorous.
Wasn't there a book about a guy who equated his cocaine addiction to Grand Theft Auto? Trying to remember.
You're thinking of Extra Lives. That's what's his name? Tom Bissell. And yeah, in one of these sections of the book has I think 5 different sections that each sort of focus on one specific game and its design mechanics and relates them to story and narrative and why video games are important in our culture. And one of the sections does deal with Grand Theft Auto 4 and the author's cocaine addiction. It's a really good book, actually.
Do you think it would be good research for a paper?
Well, it depends on the specifics of what the paper is going to be about.
So possibly. Sounds like it's worth looking into.
It definitely is anecdotal in a lot of ways, but Bissell's a well-known essayist, and actually he's writing for, I want to say Activision might have hired him, or he's working for some big player in the game space writing a game that I don't know what he's doing has been revealed or whatever, but he got hired for actual game writing. I hope so, because the guy's I hope he's really successful. The guy's a dynamite writer, and he has a lot of really smart ideas on what constitutes good narrative in games, and I'd like to see him get some level of recognition and success and be able to apply it.
Yeah, me too. We need more of that. Certainly wouldn't hurt. Any books you wanted to recommend, Jim?
I'd probably just reiterate the Grand Theft Childhood one.
Oh yeah,
you read that? I need to finish it. I didn't finish it.
I interviewed one of the authors for that book, but we never aired the interview because I just screwed it up so bad.
Wow, exactly the same thing happened to me once.
Really? She's wonderful too. Cheryl
Olsen's her name.
Yeah, I didn't meet her. I didn't meet the co-author, but I met Cheryl. She was awfully nice. I'm try to get her on Subholmes, maybe. K-Star Runner.
Good idea. We should do that.
Yeah. She's. I emailed her last year about something, and she got back to me fairly quickly and was working on a TV show or something like that. So she was open to the idea. But anywho, K-Star Runner asks, and then we should do yes or no on this, I guess. With Mother 2 announced for the Virtual Console release in Japan, do you think it's likely Earthbound will come internationally? And that was a big announcement. Mother 2 is going to be 30 cents on the Wii U Virtual Console, just like how Balloon Fight is here.
That's so fucking annoying that Japan got screwed on Balloon Fight.
Mother 2, of course, being like a 50-hour RPG with some of the best writing in a video game ever. It's by a famous Japanese essayist, Shigatsu Itoi. Probably pronouncing his name wrong. Beloved game in Japan and has a very strong, passionate following here in the United States. They're getting that. I think they've got that already. I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't have balloons.
We get Balloon Fight and Punch Out, I think.
Does it balloon? Is my question to you. If the answer is no balloon, no money from me. Not even 30 cents.
I can't believe they're getting Earthbound for 30 cents. I'm so envious. And I've already got the game. I can play it whenever I want, but to have it on a new console and be able to play it on the Wii U screen would have been so awesome. And it will not. If Nintendo really wants, and specifically if Nintendo of America really wants to show the Western audience that they get it and they're sorry for making them feel like they didn't get it, then yeah, just release Earthbound, and hundreds of thousands of people will be like, oh, Nintendo gets it now. I changed my mind. But they won't do it. I don't know why they won't do it, guys. So weird. It's already translated. It's a game that came out in this country. It's not like asking them to localize something they've never put out here. But they just don't want to put it out again. And they always say, oh, it's because it's got like a Coke logo in it. We can't do anything about the Coke logo graphics. That would take literally a half hour to switch in the programming. Sorry, guys, nothing we can do. Or there's one song that sounds a little like a Beatles song. We couldn't just make a new song in a half hour. Sorry. But they could do all that, guys. I know guys that could write a song for them in a half hour and just stick it in there with the code. Could code it. No.
Let's get this wrapped up.
I'm sorry, I'm ranting around. I thought I was tired. Not anymore.
I've often found when I'm tired or sick, I do podcasts better. I don't know why.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm doing better, but I'm certainly getting chatty at the tail end of this.
Well, we've been going for 2.5 hours, the recording
Yeah,
time.
it sure is. My apologies. Want to wrap up? There's one last question.
Right,
What's the hardest part of reviewing? I don't know if we can answer that quickly. I think it's playing the game and then writing about it and feeling like you did a good job. That's the hardest part for me. It's the hardest part for you, Jim?
I don't know. I never really.
It's easy for you now. You just do it.
I mean, I certainly do it enough times that it's become a very not automatic process, but a process I'm very used to. I have my method of doing the thing. I mean, I guess when it comes time when something like Ni no Kuni happens, Dale was going to review it, but there was miscommunication, and copy ended up here. Dale was on a plane, so obviously that wasn't going to work. And I took the job on and had 4 days to do it, and
Whoa.
it was a thing. For me, I guess the hardest job is making worrying that I've taken on a job that I'm not equipped to do. I thought this game was going to be something else, and this isn't my style, and I've got the code, and I have to do it now. But those instances aren't too common. But certainly those instances where I end up in a position that wasn't the plan, and I've got to get something done quickly and immediately, and still have it be good. And I think we got out of the Ni no Kuni problem pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it was an opportunity in the end. It seems like.
Yeah, and I'm glad because I had the game with me, but I probably wouldn't have gotten round to it. I'm glad that I was forced to do it immediately. Otherwise, I might never have had the time without me being forced to make the time. And I'm glad I did, because it's a beautiful game.
And now when Ni no Kuni 2 comes out, you'll be like, I'll review that.
Let's do that shit.
Yeah. Conrad, you have any comments on
for me, one of the biggest things is knowing when I've thought about it enough. When I've given it enough consideration that I'm ready to render a verdict. Because I will spend, if I find a mechanic interesting, or I find something that doesn't quite work and I can't figure out why, I'll spend so much freaking time mulling it over and considering angles and, is it really that bad a thing? Or how bad is it? Is it really good? How effective was that? Man, that was amazing. I mean, it could go on for weeks if I let myself. So, I've had to just sort of set a deadline thing. We're like, all right, this absolutely fucking has to be done by this point, and you know how long it's going to take you to write it. So it's time to stop dicking around. That's the trickiest part, is to make the transition from getting all the thoughts formulated into just actually putting them on the page. Once you get going on that, it's not so hard.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the inspiration and the ideas come, but the forming them and putting them into a cohesive whole, that can be a little tough for any kind of writing, I suppose. Yeah?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Okay, let's get this wrapped.
Let's do it.
I'm going to have my dinner.
Yeah, that sounds good. I am going to talk about what I'm up to.
Do it.
Tomorrow? Is that when we're doing...
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're posting the rerun of Jim Crawford's episode of Sup Holmes. Jim Crawford's the guy who made Frog Fractions. I meant to post it a while ago, but I didn't. So that's going to be good. That was a great talk with Jim Crawford. What a fun, passionate guy. And he was not shy about telling me when I was talking over him, or he had a point that he wanted to finish. At one point he said, "Well, I wasn't done with my point, Jonathan, so I will continue with what I was saying." And I was like, "Oh, snap, Jim Crawford, I'm sorry." So that was a great talk. What an interesting guy he is. Very down to earth. A lot of people who played Frog Fractions might think, "Whoa, this guy's probably super weird." And he's smart and creative, but definitely relatable. And if you want to get to know how a guy made a free game about a frog eating bugs and then adding them up into fractions. At one point, when it first came out, 90,000 people were playing it simultaneously, and have only gone up from there. Millions of people have played it.
It's an incredible game.
Yeah,
it is incredible.
if you've ever wanted to make an incredible video game that people actually like, you should listen to Jim Crawford, because he did it. He's a cool dude. And yesterday, the episode with Luis Hernandez went up, the rerun of that. He's making a game that is trying to be funny, and I think he's going to pull it off. And it's very hard, though. So many comedy games have failed. And he's going to get you in it, probably, Jim? I hope so. That'll help make it funny.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah. So if you want to listen to a guy who's going to put Jim Sterling in his game, listen to Luis Hernandez talking about what's it called there? Jazz punk. Yep. And then this Sunday, David Reedon, I believe is how I pronounce it. He made the Stanley Parable, and he's making the Stanley Parable HD remix.
Oh, nice. That's another fantastic game. That's one of those games where it's like that I can use to demonstrate the difference between a good game like Dear Esther and a bad game like Dear Esther. Yeah.
The Stanley Parable is a game about nothing in a lot of ways, but it leaves a lot of empty space. Not unlike that trucker game you were talking about, Jim. It seems like it's about nothing, but it leaves enough negative space that you can fill it with your own stuff and keep the experience interesting, even though it's pretty low stimuli overall. I'll be talking to him on Sup Holmes live on Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know him. Seems like a neat guy. I don't think I'm doing anything else other than reviewing Tokyo Crash Mobs, which is the best game ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's Zuma.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the best game. So good. You know how Deadly Premonition is like, it's kind of like Resident Evil 4, but worse. And then all of a sudden, it's not worse. All of a sudden, it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
That's what Tokyo Crash Mobs does for Puzzle Loop. Just mind-blowing. Can't believe some of the things I've seen. And I'm not done yet. Very excited about it.
Yeah, you've done a good job of making me intrigued enough to where I will probably have to look into buying it.
It's the Deadly Premonition of puzzle games.
Wow.
It just is.
Okay.
No other way of putting it. There's a part where a woman just stares at another woman for a long time in 3D, and they don't talk. Because you're playing the game, you're like, okay, this is going to make sense. And it does in its own way, but then that happens, and you're just like, I love this. Anyway, yeah.
Splendid. Okay, well, what am I doing? Got a new Jimquisition up and out on escapistmagazine.com. This week's episode is called Accepting the Isms, which is about how, gamers are always very quick to deny whenever there's potentially offensive content in a game without just admitting that, this could offend someone and we can be okay with that. So it was an interesting thing, got some good reactions. You can check that out. I also did several reviews for Destructoid. You can check out the Ni no Kuni review. It's Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Loved it. It is a superb game. Loved it and hated it, but in a way that made me love it more. So it's a game for people that really love Japanese RPGs. Like, really love them. And especially love things like Dragon Quest 8 or 7. It was 8. The Journey of the Cursed King. I always forget. Got a weird history with Dragon Quest because they had spotty releases in Europe.
Oh, it's super confusing.
I was in
Dragon
Europe
Quest
at the
9
time.
is the one. I was calling Dragon Quest 8 Dragon Quest 9 this whole show.
That's what threw me. Yeah, I got confused.
Yeah, 9 was DS, 8 was PS2, 7 was PS1.
So I thought that's how it went, but then you said that, and I thought I didn't want to confirm or deny because for fear of looking stupid and people would say.
No, you did it right. It's confusing because Final Fantasy. Now I'm talking about Final Fantasy. Dragon Quest 7 is coming out on the 3DS now, which makes it feel like a new game, but it's not. It's an old game.
It's weird stuff.
I'm dumb.
But Ni no Kuni reminds me a lot of Dragon Quest 8, which is one of my favourite Japanese role-playing games. So, good stuff. Check it out. And I also reviewed Final Fantasy All the Bravest, which is the exact opposite of Ni no Kuni in every imaginable fucking way. One of the few reviews in which I drop an F-bomb. I use them for very, very rare occasions as just precision. Just when I need to be absolutely cutting. Last time I used it was for Revelations 2012, where I said that the game was fucking shit, and Metacritic can quote me on that. And Metacritic did quote me on that, which was cool. And for this one, I closed the review out by saying Final Fantasy All the Bravest is fucking disgusting, which it is. It is absolutely intellectually offensive to its very core. Just not even a game so much as just this money delivery system in which you are just giving your cash to Square Enix now. They've cut out the video game middleman and just said, you know what, we'd rather you just give us money because we're us. Like, this is Final Fantasy, look at a picture of Final Fantasy and pay us for it. So, it's gross. It's grotesque. But that's what I've been up to. And, Conrad, where can we catch you?
Well, I just put up a review of The Cave yesterday, the new Double Fine Ron Gilbert platformy adventure game. Like that. Thought that was pretty fun, so you can read that. There's going to be a new Office Chat, hopefully going up tonight. I'm waiting for the copy to come back to me from the editor, but hopefully that'll go up tonight. And then see me on Saturday Morning Hangover this weekend. I don't know what we're going to play yet. I usually don't figure that out until like late in the week, but you hang out with me and Jordan DeVore and my wife, and we'll all make fun of her, and she goes like bright red. It'll be adorable.
Oh,
yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Resident Evil Revelations coming to consoles, guys.
Sure didn't.
That's exciting. Oh,
I guess so.
I'm excited.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've just been followed by a guy called Jim Sterling Sucks on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Interesting,
says,
man.
Well, he could be ironic.
I have no idea with this one. Is an awful journalist who's disgraced to Great Britain. You just can't tell anymore whether they're genuine or not. Oh well, fuck him.
Maybe he's the next evolution of Can't Stand Holmes.
Maybe.
Maybe he'll love me and send me hate mail about you to me, like the Can't Stand Holmes did to you about me.
That would be like we're snowballing haters. Anyway, thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week, and as I said, we're not going to have an awkward closeout this week. It's going to be a bit different. And enjoy this Thomas Truong Dragon Ball Z Kai remix based on stuff from last week and previous episodes where we talked about Dragon Ball Z out of their shell. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's called Dragon Ball Z out of their shells.
The three of us are not who kids want.
Come on, Jonathan.
Conrad's
Who is hipper than we?
Bow, bow, bow! Don't stop, here we go now. I will milk you like a cow. There's so much we can do. I'll stick it where you go. Jonathan.
That's not good. It's bad.
Jonathan Holmes. There are mysteries abound. Jonathan Holmes. Your ass is juicy and round.
Cool.
Jonathan Holmes. There's something I need you to hear. Jonathan Holmes. I get a boner whenever you're near. And that's when I come out, dressed all blue and naked. You'll go, Kami! And I'll like run on stage, Kami! And I'll bend over and pull my ass cheeks apart, and that's when you go, ah! And then you shove your fist up my ass. Bow, bow, bow! Don't stop, here we go now. I will milk you like a cow. There's so much we can do. I'll stick it where you go. Don't stop, here we go now. I will milk you like a cow. There's so much we can do. I'll stick it where you go. What?
No.
Jonathan.
What? Why? Jim, tell me why you're like this.
You know, I wasn't sure about this, but Holmes, I think you've really struck onto some gold.